even find the video I did like an hour later. My phone wasn't even showing it was available to watch. Now it's fine, but so I don't know what's
It
going
usually
on.
happens to people who aren't consistently uploading, but I would say you're
Pretty
pretty
consistent.
constant. Yeah. So I don't know. That's weird.
So hopefully, if you're in here in the chat, let us know if you got a notification. I mean, any one of us should be able to.
What the hell
Oh,
happened?
T, we
See
should
what? See, did you
watch
queue up a
together. Join
video?
activity. Do you mean to do that?
No, what the hell? What did I
Oh
press
yeah,
on?
this is like the
You
little
hit the
things where
join
you for
activity.
Whoops.
I don't enter. Yeah, there we go.
close it.
But somebody in the chat, you
What is
guys
that
see any
button?
kind of notification?
I just got a notification you being live.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
I did one for the PS5 and it's gone. It just if nobody
I never saw it.
nobody jumped in live because no notification.
It's a grandpa moment.
And then
I didn't know it existed.
I did
honestly.
an hour and a half, and then it's not on my YouTube. It's just gone. I just was talking to nobody.
Good thing I wasn't on Pornhub.
Again,
I love how people.
I don't get your notifications. I didn't get the notification for
gotta
that
click the bell.
Stellar Blade live stream you did.
Well,
I didn't
that
get
no
the
one did. That's
notification
I
for
can't
the
even
home
view it.
theater one.
That didn't even upload to my channel, so I
I
don't.
didn't know it existed because
So I don't know what
it wasn't
happened
until
with that one.
Juice. It wasn't until Juice brought it up until I was like, oh,
I did a
that was
review and
the-
I was actually like focused and like kept like stuck on my points and stuff. I didn't just wander with random topics, and I was like,
you got angry.
I was
that
like, well,
you
no one's
didn't.
jumping in, but at least it'll be like an upload, and then it's just gone forever.
You
I'm
never
like,
know
fuck.
what fucking YouTube what they want, or I see people complaining all the time. It's like I'll make a video and it's just like some bullshit, and it like gets way more views than the shit I spent hours and hours
Yeah.
producing and editing, and you just never know what the algorithm will like.
What's up, J Biggs? What's up, Lenny, Mr. True, Donnie?
Same thing with me. Like when I did the fucking GameCube video, it's like one of my best viewed videos in the last 4 or 5 months, and I'm like, what? I had no expectations with it.
You're gonna have to gamble with it. That's what
I know how to get views in the home theater market. Just say something about. My best one was did adding subwoofers fix my bass issue? This is like 10,000 views. Like people, and I mean it was a legit topic. It wasn't clickbait.
You clickbaiter, you.
But I was like, I could.
But it felt like clickbait.
I could have kept it going because I was in the algorithm there.
Bader Ginsburg.
About a month.
Ooh.
But my most viewed video, believe it or not, is basic surround sound setups after I got the Wii U, and OJ asked me, he's like, how do I get surround sound with the Wii U? So I was like, you know what, let me just make a basic video, just kind of general. And he was the person I was making it for. In like specifically, I was like, all right, I'll upload this. OJ can watch it. I'm sure a few people of my subscribers will watch it. It's like 300 something thousand views.
Your highest viewed video of all time.
And it's like absolute trash. Like my living room setup with like nothing's properly placed, and of course all these experts who are watching a basic surround sound had to chime in for years telling me how wrong
consistently
I was.
On my channel, my most viewed video to this day. I'll make a video. That new video will be at the top for a couple days maybe, and then fucking Switch VR video keeps getting views, and I'm like, what? Do people really want VR for the Switch? Like, it's insane how many views I keep getting on that video. It was like 30,000 at one place, like 89,000 now. It's like, what is going on?
So I have 6 videos all over 10 that have hit 10,000 views or not or more. Basic surround sound setup tips for beginners, 310,000 views. My Wii U 5.1 surround sound setup, 18,000 views. PS4 controller on PC has great gyro aiming, 13,000 views. My bass problem, 12,000. My Returnal video, 11,000. And my Wii U Me versus Awesome has 11,000. So I made a Returnal video 2 years ago. People comment like I made it yesterday, asking me questions. I'm like, dude, I haven't played the game in over a year, and I don't know what patches, what updates, balancing thing they did. I said back when I played it, this was a good strategy. I don't know if that's still true. But I had a guy comment on a video that was like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. It was ridiculously old. Asked me, it was the 3DS image share how-to video someone commented on. That was 9 years ago. And just 3,000 views. Somebody watched it just like within the last 3 weeks. I'm like, wow.
Oh, my bad. It has 79,000, not 87 or 89. But it's still.
Yeah, it's still crazy.
Which VR? Really? for the Switch, the current Switch.
And
Not even the new
how many
Switch.
games like since then? I
3
don't think
years
they've
ago.
added any games to the library of VR.
Nothing. Not a damn thing since I made this video 3 years ago, and it's still getting views.
Who would have thought PS4 controller gyro aiming would have got 13,000 views?
Right.
5
Like,
years
what?
ago. It was 4 minutes long. I just threw it together on PC. That's the only time I even set it up. I only used it that one time to make the video, and I probably used it for about an hour, and I never used it again. But
I didn't even mention my short. The short. Is like a guy making a play in football. It was like 11,000 views.
Really?
This is a couple of months ago. Yeah, it's like, what?
I can't say anything. All my most popular videos
Shorts is the
are
future, my man.
Pokemon related
Shorts.
videos.
There's a guy who made I was gonna send you a link to it. He's a home theater guy. He had one of his subscribers came and checked out his room, and like they had a nice discussion about it. But then somehow he turned like that into 20 different shorts, and when you click the short, it like somehow it took me right to the video, like the full length video. Like it was just
you can link if you do shorts from a video, you can link the full video.
Yeah, you can.
And I'm like, wow,
You
he's
can.
really, that's a good strategy. Just like reaction.
Oh yeah, a
channel.
lot of people do that now.
I was watching a reaction channel. She was always doing 2 Star Trek Next Generation episodes in one episode, like one video. Well, she obviously wised up and started doing 2 separate videos because it's twice the views. So I don't have a problem with that. Like, cool. But actually, when you brought up Pornhub, the thing I was gonna talk just real quick that I find, I don't know, amusing maybe is the right word, but the new I have an OnlyFans page. Like, that's like the new way to say basically, hey, I'm a porn star, but it seems a lot less like offensive or
It's called sex work, Juice. Respect it. Those women are working hard.
Use the proper terminology, my friend. They're working somebody hard, but you're not.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well,
I always made them spit take.
Damn it!
it came up because I saw
Cut that shit out.
this cool portal like screen in New York and Berlin. I think was it Berlin the other?
Oh, the portal screen.
It's on OnlyFans flashed and got it. They shut it down for a week.
Shut down.
And then she got put out like Piers Morgan and interviewed her, which annoyed the piss out of me. I don't watch like hardly any of his videos after, but I did see that on another video they showed it was the story.
After
basically.
we told you he was a provocateur, full of shit,
actually
commentator.
I stand by that video I linked where he interviewed that girl.
So he has one good video.
I don't know.
The guy's a piece of shit.
I think the only problem I have is just the guests he has
God.
on, to be honest. From what I've seen. But anyway, it was a video covering the story, and then they showed that she went on Piers Morgan, and then he gave her like, I don't know, 10 minutes. It's just like, you're doing she's exactly what she wanted was people to get her name out there. Like, is that how bad news is? But anyway, it's just I thought it was funny. Like, oh, I have an OnlyFans page.
Well, he's not a news. That's the thing. He's not news.
No,
he's not a news person. But yeah, I got you.
But the video I watched was kind of just covering the whole story, and I didn't even know about that portal thing. That was pretty cool. People were like holding their phones up and calling with their phone number, and people were calling and talking. It's kind of cool, but
somebody's gonna fuck it up though. Anything that's cool like that.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, they already had to shut it down after she did that, and.
You got people walking by showing their nuts and shit like a dude dropped his drop. I'm like, come on, man. Like,
what do you think is gonna happen?
What do you think's gonna happen? Right, exactly.
We can segue into this. I saw the Valorant, or was it Riot Games or whatever? They're trying to like crack down on like online, just like voice chat. I'm guessing I think it's all voice chat, and I get it. I wish voice chat. I wish it was filled with good conversation and people wanting to play team sport, but it's just like you're never gonna beat it. Like, it's sad to say, like, there's no solution. It's because as soon as you take away the threat of physical repercussions, all bets are off. People are just gonna be stupid, and it's like, it sucks, but I think it's futile to try to, like, I mean, you can ban people, you can block them, I mean, that's fine, but you're never gonna change people from acting that way, which is like, honestly,
you just block their IP address. Then fucked.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a nice thing to say. I just think it's, there's no solution.
Well, you got to do something. You can't just
yeah,
sit
you
back,
can, yeah,
especially
you
as a
can
company.
put in, but how are you gonna? The problem is if you open up the door, then somebody can say it because not everybody's recording. Like obviously, if you have a recording, you're a streamer, and somebody says something,
Yeah.
you have a recording. Like that's the
Oh, that's what I saw recently. This female
Yeah,
streamer.
I've
Like,
seen that. But what
okay,
happens
yeah,
if it's just hearsay? What if it's like, hey, this person said an offensive word, and it's like, oh, the match got over, and they're like, oh, um, this because what you just said, the topic of that video or
well,
that. If someone's like, man, we just got ass raped. Our team just got ass raped. So like, oh my god, that's offensive. Like, how? There's gonna be
okay.
too much
Well, here's
hearsay
the thing:
stuff.
you can put in, or some of these companies that they really care, they can put in a reverse, like a 5 minute record thing, right?
Oh
Or
yeah, as soon as somebody
because
says something, hit a
as soon as
button.
somebody says something, you hit the button and fucking record your last 5 minutes, right? And then problem solved with people making up stuff, just because they lost and got mad.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be to how that would work to implement. Would it be
I don't know. I have free software that does that, so I don't see why it would be a big thing.
And then if you're playing on PS5, you can always record the last, however, 30 seconds to 5 minutes if you want. I really think
PS4 do that because I thought it only recorded ahead.
No, records.
No, records
you can,
behind.
Yeah,
you can record anything, obviously.
You can record as soon as you double tap it on PS5.
It's like a DVR, basically. It's like a DVR.
It's constantly recording, and then if you're like, all right, I want to capture the last minute, you set it to anytime you double tap the share button. I have it for 30 seconds because a minute's just too long.
Yeah, that's too much.
And
it's mostly a minute.
I'm not against it. I think I just was listening to a story about Portland, Oregon, how they tried to basically made it almost no penalty for doing drugs like in public, and it's a $100 fine or unless you call like a 800 number, and it's just crime is run rampant and drug abuse. People are overdosing. Like it's just escalated, and it's like without the threat of punishment, and that's really what happens online with keyboard warriors. Is you gotta it'd be nice if there was some strict punishment. Because then it would at least give somebody pause before they said something stupid. But the other thing is, it's not just verbal. Played Rocket League for how many years? I missed one easy shot, and our teammate would just start playing for the other team, and he wouldn't leave. He might vote for a forfeit, but if you don't do it, then he plays for the other team, and you're sitting there just this match. You're stuck playing against this idiot who's mad because one dude missed one shot or missed one save, and it's like. It didn't say anything, just behaved like a actual child when you might have been a child, and it ruined that match, which it's only a 3-minute match, but still ruined it for basically everybody else. And it's like you just can't get away from that. Well, how would you punish that? I guess they could put things in place, but then you gotta then it puts a lot of work on the. I forget who even Psionics, they would have to if there's 100,000 people playing at any given moment, it'd probably be overwhelmed.
Visor has a good idea. I mean, that's always been a thing that's possible, but then they'll just turn around and they're being cyberbullied.
Yeah. Not everybody's gonna be willing to try to turn it on the person. Not everybody's capable of being witty and clever enough to put somebody back in their place, it's just, and sometimes even I try to be pretty level-headed and cool about stuff, but yeah, I got fired up a couple times with the behavior of a teammate or another team, the other team player in Rocket League, especially. Call of Duty, it was a long time ago, so I'm sure there was moments. I don't remember it being as rampant as your teammates just giving up on you. Yeah, because you can't see them. They might be AFK. They might have walked away and somebody came to the door. You never know. But in Rocket League, there was just obvious, you could see everybody at all times pretty much. You could see that your teammates, purposely playing trying to ruin your match afterwards. And it is annoying. It's frustrating.
Dick calling you racial slurs and that kind of shit. Been through that. I am less susceptible to being hurt by that, but some people, that shit bothers,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just wrong to begin with.
And they wouldn't do it. Some would do it to your face, but most people wouldn't.
That's the main thing. None of these dudes would say this shit to your face. So I think it's weak. It's weak anyway, right? But But again, some people, it will bother them.
Like, yeah,
I
anybody
know,
with
man. Some people will set up meetings in real life so they can beat you up and stuff. Like,
really?
Let's go to let's meet at the park.
Yeah.
Let me take that 6-hour
Oh,
road
you
trip.
might. I know what
I
you're
was
talking
at
about.
a 6-hour road trip.
Let me take that 6-hour road
You want
trip.
to take that 6-hour road trip? Dude? You want this? Oh, the best times on YouTube, bro.
Oh no!
I missed all
That's good
that.
stuff. Everybody did.
Don't worry
I got
about it.
What
sucked
are they
into
talking
the
about?
next gen stuff for a while. It was before COVID, so that was been 4 years, more than 4 years ago now. I was listening to like almost, probably not every podcast, but at least once a week I was tuning in. It was just too good.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah,
Shit.
because it was Xbox One.
Oh my god.
And now
You
it's
know?
Xbox None. No, I'm just playing.
They were just like really, they didn't really have anything else to do except basically they were like turning in their Xbox card, and some guys were giving, it was just nonsense. I figured out the formula after a couple months. I'm like, man, they're just doing this on purpose. Like, this guy really isn't like just that diehard of a Sony pony. He's just saying it because it gets people to donate and get their comment.
It's the grift.
And it's like, god damn,
It's
like
the grift.
because there's like no way that someone's like that. There are people that probably
There's
are
some
like
people that are true.
oh yeah,
but-
there's some crazy people.
like
But those guys don't get the views because they like it's passionate for them,
Mhm.
and so they don't know all the little tricks. They get too in their emotions. They don't realize how they can play the game. The guys who are just being like I said, like you said, slick and just trying to get views and stuff. They know all
because
the
they have
little
the
buttons to push.
opposition. They have the Xbox
Right.
guy. They have the guy bashing Xbox that's a pony fan, and they have the Xbox guy
Right.
bashing Sony. And I don't know if this is like a revelation I've had, but I was listening to something and they were basically just ripping on Sony, and I was like, you know what? It doesn't bother me. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and tune into some Sony hate channel or somebody like ripping a game I like, but at the same time, that stuff really doesn't affect me anymore. Like, I used to get really riled up about Nintendo hate, and I still, to a point, if somebody says something just completely like ignorant about Nintendo to this day, it'll still get me a little bit, but I don't know.
That's why I unsubbed most people during the Wii U era, man. People were making careers by shitting on the Wii U. I wasn't having that. I was just unsubbing fucking people left and right. Like, life's too short for that bullshit.
And I'm pulling receipts, by the way, from some of these same motherfuckers. Oh, I can't play Nintendo games. They're too kiddie, and they all capping for fucking Rastrobot and shit right now. Like, what? I'm confused. Like, what's going on here? But Astrobot is awesome, by the way.
That
it is
looks
an
pretty
awesome
good. I
fucking
watched
game.
that trailer.
But what I'm saying is, these people are acting like, oh, I can't play those tinky winky kitty games and shit. And Astrobot is very, very colorful, very kid friendly platforming game. And it's just like, oh, you just really care about the goddamn logo. You don't really care about anything else. I got you.
Motherfucking Tycoon. I love that.
Zoo Tycoon.
I see.
Oh my
Christ.
I seen Hi-Fi Rush is on sale on the PlayStation Store. I don't remember what the price.
I just got that shit for free through Humble Bundle. God damn, that's some sad.
That makes me mad, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. God damn.
I liked Astro's Playroom.
Well,
but
it ain't free. It's my Humble Bundle account, but still,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's messed up.
Yeah, I mean, the Wii U era was tough because you had guys acting like, oh wow, these guys they're pro Nintendo Wii U, and then like a year or two later, they just completely turned on Nintendo and Wii U.
Take
Oh, I
a
bought this for
complete
third-party
jump.
games. I bought this for the promise of third-party games, and it wasn't the cool system anymore, or it was never. But it was obvious it wasn't going to work, like be a hit, and the guys just jumped. A lot of guys jumped to Xbox from Nintendo. That I can think of three.
So,
right
like,
now.
That was a downgrading game
From a
quality.
sinking ship to a sinking and shit.
Yeah. Well, that was
Yeah, but
still.
say, motherfucker, you thought Nintendo had problems? You drowning over here. What the
From a
fuck?
sinking ship to a sunken ship. That bitch is already underwater. What the hell y'all jumping over there for?
It was like it was
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
I think Alex Real Gamer did it for sure. I don't remember if I don't think Levelhead ever went to that extreme. Zen Gamer and his buddy, who I can't remember his name, they all jumped to Xbox.
They went full. God dang. But I will say for Zen at least, he got pushed over the edge.
Yeah.
A lot of those dudes were killing him on the Nintendo side. So.
It was hilarious though.
I used to be like, man, him and I used to chat after podcasts for like 2 hours, like, and then because I said E3 2015, I gave Nintendo the nod just for the entire E3 with the treehouse. That dude turned on me like I'd never seen before. He just like instantly,
like you stabbed.
He wrote like
kids.
7 paragraphs, like just ripping me, and then I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude?" Like, I just gave all the reasons why. I didn't say the E3 part of it, the direct part of it sucked, but it's not like Sony's was great that year, you know.
And you said that.
It was just crazy.
Was not good.
We were making fun of it. Like T and I were.
We made fun of it. Yeah, we had like we call it a therapy session.
Oh yeah, I remember
That's
that.
when I used to take a week off at my PC upstairs. I was ready to watch E3. I was so excited. We'll talk about E3. I don't want to get into it just yet, or we could, but.
And little did we know, sadly, the late great Owada was sick at that time. That made it even worse, you know, once we found out.
Because then he passed away in 2015.
Pretty quickly after, after E3.
Man, that's crazy.
It's been a while already. It's kind of crazy. It feels like it was like last week, man.
It's almost 10 years.
Just last week a man died.
Since
Jesus
the last
Christ.
podcast, we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Mario Kart 8. It came out, May 30th, 2014.
I like how I feel like none of y'all are happy about that.
I didn't look that date up, so RetroDeath, look it up. In the U.S.,
it's been
I
10
think it was
years
worldwide.
since we had a new Mario
I think it was a
Kart.
worldwide launch. Was it May 30th, 2014 for Mario Kart 8? That's what my memory.
One of Nintendo's most popular IPs. It's been 10 years.
10-year anniversary. And
well, you know, if you add up all the new tracks, that's a new game. Shut the fuck up with that bullshit.
2014. Yeah, 2014.
It's a whole new game with the DLC.
May 30th. Yeah, for both of us.
Because I was like, well, they're getting a couple days of May sales, and then they're getting a bunch of June sales for like the next half of the year, the next quarter. That was the thought I figured they planned, and it did well. I mean, I want to say it was over 1 million in its first week, and they had the 2 free games. So happy.
Because his lifetime on the Wii, the lifetime for the Wii U version was 8 mil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 million.
Remember, we thought that was a crazy number. That was honestly, let's get it, Nintendo. Turn around.
How much crazier can that be, though? I mean, there was only 13 point something million.
I bet you PlayStation would love for an 8 million selling game right now.
I think they love for a game
5 million
that they don't have to port the PC, man. That turnaround for God of War was crazy.
Dang.
It's still 2 years.
It's gonna get shorter and shorter, folks.
That's what I'm saying. I was already thought that was kind of short.
They say I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed that they're still pushing the PSN for that. For that game, I can't.
Yeah, they are.
There's no online functionality whatsoever.
Yeah, it don't make sense.
They are pushing PSN
I know
for
they're doing it though. They're trying to, hey investors, look at that.
Look at that. Look at all the people on PSN. They own that PlayStation.
I will say, as a console gamer, anybody who's bought a Capcom, EA, Bethesda game recently,
they all do it.
Like, I don't mind, especially for Ubisoft.
There's a problem though, because it's not in every country. There's 100 and some country, 170, 80 countries out there that don't have PSN. So, I mean, it's not a problem for me.
It's a problem for
it's
Sony.
messed up. Yeah,
that's lost sales. So I would think they would try to address
some
that.
Countries
some
with some PSNs over there.
But
it costs you nothing. I mean, it's a you don't have to put your credit card information in that bitch if you don't want to.
No.
So if that's the work, because that is a concern.
I still
that
think
is a
it should
fair
be.
concern.
I think it should be optional though for people that like me that would want that, like the trophies to be carried over on PC. They don't have a cross-buy option, so that's like kind of you're gonna buy the game twice. No, most people, and I bet you almost nobody's gonna buy it to do cross-platform. Or I want a game on my PC. Sometimes I want a game because on Xbox, the digital version anyway, you buy it digitally on the Microsoft Store or Xbox app. You have it on both the console and the PC, and that's nice. But you know, obviously if you buy physically, then you lose that perk. So I don't know. For me, I would definitely do it if I was gonna buy a PS5 or a PlayStation game on PC. I definitely want to use the trophies and stuff. But
I disagree with that, Alexander. I disagree. Nintendo Direct did not kill E3.
No, it definitely didn't kill E3.
Because Nintendo was still at E3 with big ass booths, even though they did their Direct. The Direct was digital, but they were still had a huge presence.
Yeah,
at
E3 was the
E3
show.
killed itself.
Was the actual show floor. It was the press conferences were separate. That was.
I'd argue the opposite, even that when E3 actually died, all companies started doing the Nintendo Direct thing. So we still basically had an E3 once E3 died.
But the thing that died was the showroom floor with the booths.
Yeah, the showroom floor stuff is what died. That had nothing to do with Nintendo.
Extended
Nintendo was there.
And that extended the coverage and the excitement. It was more than just.
It was cool because they could focus on, like, here's the game. Let's, like they could have direct. That's funny to say direct. They could show you directly, what how the game's played and all that stuff. They could be more hands-on on the floor instead of focusing on the damn live presentation. Because there was a lot that went into those live presentations. Those things got out of hand, and they were like, "All right, we can't keep doing this," and that's why they changed to directs.
But
also the narrative, they looked at what happened with Wii U and how the media portrayed the Wii U, and it was partially their fault too, them botching it. Oh, is it just an add-on? Blah blah blah. So when they got to control of the narrative, the directs, that also helped with their PR and stuff. As you can see today, people don't hate on Nintendo when they should hate on them.
Now I watched Lady
Decade. They were hating on them for no reason.
Lady Decade made a video about Paper Mario was like half price in Europe. It was like the equivalent of $32 in Europe, and it's $60 here. She's like, what? She was just wondering why, and she just had to make another video because she was getting roasted by people saying, like, I'll gladly pay that game. I'd pay $75 for that game. They thought she was insulting them for buying the game at $6. She's just like, why is this? This is one of the few games where it's cheaper, significantly cheaper in Europe than it is in the U.S. And she just obviously needed a video topic and made it. And people were like defending that, and it was just the craziest stuff. Now it was only a few extreme people, obviously.
Yeah, it's always going to only be a few.
But it's like, really, like. A, you must not have watched the video because she wasn't saying the game wasn't worth $60, and B, like, oh, I would have paid $75. This is this amazing.
It's
game.
Not. I'll tell you that. But hey, it is what it is. I guess there's new content though, so that's cool.
Before we get into the E3, we might as well talk about the quote unquote start of E3. The new E3 was the state of play, which. My initial watch was on a live stream of Sandstorm. I wasn't feeling it. I rewatched it. I probably gave it like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 maybe. It wasn't as bad as it was initially. Like, we were just chatting, bullshitting. His stream was like laggy.
State of play, you mean?
Yeah, the state of play. Oh. I mean, I was
I didn't think it was that
I was
bad.
just disappointed in like, oh, this game looks pretty cool. Oh, it's 2025. Like, what's for this year? There wasn't. I mean, Astrobot looks really good. Once I rewatched the trailer, I was like, yeah, that does look pretty damn. They're really going all out with that game. I just,
Why were you expecting, well, at least from Sony, anything this year? Because they already said
told you we weren't going to get anything.
Well, they said
March 2025.
They said no franchise games, like no sequels this year.
No major franchise.
But I figured something like Astro would be there, but I thought there'd be maybe one more, and then like some of the third-party games.
They don't see Astro as one of their major tentpole.
No, I would. I mean, at this point, it isn't. It's had a VR game and like in a demo.
Astro is basically their mascot right now.
But that team looks like they're like really creative, and that trailer looked great. I just was hoping for some, because the last state of play there was a few games that intrigued me that we got revealed, and I was like, oh, no updates on it, so I guess those aren't coming out this year. So.
Now I'm happy that the game is getting love and shit. But I'm a little annoyed because the fucking Astro Rescue Mission has been out for years and nobody ain't say shit about that game. And it's fantastic.
Is that the VR
one? Of
one?
The best. It's a VR one, yeah. and it is amazing.
I think it was
a
mistake.
That's the game that I said. I think I did my little review. I was saying this is like Sony, the closest they've been to like making a Nintendo game. This is amazing.
Do you think they could have made it work without VR?
No, like, it could. Yeah, it totally works without VR.
I don't know why they didn't.
My guess is that it's gonna be that game, but not VR, and it totally works without it. It's still really cool platformer with really cool ideas and stuff. Gameplay mechanics.
I mean, I had fun with the pack in Astra's Playroom. I think it was like 3 hours. I platinumed the game, and I played through it multiple times. Like, there's some fun ideas in there. So I'm looking forward to that.
Rescue Mission specifically, I mean, there's a lot of obviously VR mechanics, but you can see where they can still make a game that didn't use those VR mechanics. So I'm not surprised that they made a full-on platformer with it. I'm surprised it took this damn long. But I'm glad people are finally appreciating Astrobot around this. It's awesome.
Other than that, I don't think like Monster Hunter. I don't think it did. I mean, it does look pretty good visually. But
I mean, third-party stuff. Third-party stuff look good. That's kind of where I was at with it.
Yeah, that's definitely like the Monster Hunter World's like kind of style game. It looks like more than. I don't know, maybe they'll blend it more with because people.
Animation looks sick in that game.
It does, and
these are the best the Monster Hunter monsters have ever looked.
Even on 3DS, the animations were pretty good.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a big game and stuff, but it's 2025. The other game that looked pretty good, I forget what something. Avantara. I forget the beginning part of the title. I was like, that looks interesting. 2025.
That looked cool. Yeah.
So that's my
that's
initial
a third-party game too.
Mm-hmm. My initial disappointment was this, like, there's, I thought maybe there'd be more for 2024, not from Sony themselves, but just games coming. But so I guess my initial I was like, that was 3 out of 10. Like we were just kind of ripping on it the whole time, but when I rewatched it, it's like actually when I cut the first 12 minutes out and watched everything after that as if that was the state of play. I felt they gave that game in the beginning way too much time. Like, especially the cinematic was like 8 minutes.
Way too much time. Way too much time.
This is a new IP. Like, we don't know these characters. We can't get sucked into this 8 minutes of whatever banter. And
then it's just an Overwatch clone.
Yeah. So, it might.
Come on, who gives a fuck? Sorry.
I know RetroDeath plays Overwatch.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I don't care for like.
Do you want to play Overwatch again with different characters and a completely different lore?
Of competitive things or whatever, or like Overwatch because it's Overwatch, Like I'm not big on mega.
Yeah, it's like me. Like I like Resident Evil doesn't mean I want to play every survival horror.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna play like fucking Apex and Valorant and like Destiny, all this fucking shit. Like I don't care. Like if I see that, I'm actually either more prone to like turn it off because I'm already playing that anyway.
You don't want to play it again?
Man,
you
still can't even put it.
Sound like you don't like games.
You talking about Silent Hill?
No.
We were talking. He was still talking about the Overwatch comparison.
Yeah, it's the first game. It was the first game that was shown. It was like 30.
The biggest problem with that game is that that's a fine game 5-6 years ago.
Ooh,
but it probably took this long for them to finish. It's like the Suicide Squad game that recently came out. It's like that game would have made sense when they started making it, but the fact that it took them 6 years to make that shit, nobody cares about that game anymore. Or you're locked into other games that are like that. You're not gonna look for another game.
It's not like back in the Wii era when a popular franchise came out, like Harry Potter or whatever, they make a game really fucking fast for that shit, Games aren't like that anymore. You can't, like what you said, you can't make a Suicide Squad game for Suicide Squad fucking 5 years later when the movie kind of bombed already as it is anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily that started out as the game it ended up being. It might have started out as more of a like a Arkham.
Yeah, they might have but that's the thing. Like that would be worse because it's like you guys really aren't reading the room here. You're gonna turn that into something nobody even cares about.
So I mean, it makes sense they try to make a group-based game, but don't make this random looter shooter. Like you could make a more team-based game. It would make more sense.
Guardians of the Galaxy was a game out of a group, and you get to play it.
Yeah.
And that game was freaking awesome. Nobody bought that either, unfortunately. It was because of the reputation of that studio because of the Marvel game.
A couple weeks ago, there was more players playing Marvel's Avengers than the Suicide Squad, like 2-3 weeks ago.
That's rough.
Oh my god.
That's
the game is like $5 now, though. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah, but that's still crazy.
They're teasing new characters in the new season. Like, you guys, I'm sorry. Like,
cut it off.
It's over. I know it's probably they had a lot of hard work. They don't.
But the Joker, though, man, the Joker.
That game was so dead in the water before. It's like, first of all, like you said, who said that? Was it you, Retro? The first movie bombed.
Yeah.
Well,
the first movie did well, but it was critically.
First movie did well, but it was trash. It was not good. The second movie was great, but that one bombed. So it was like, let's make a game. No.
Sitting right back there, watched it last night for the first time in 2 years.
And the Suicide Squad, which is a weird title.
Loved it, except my 4K disc.
Oh, the Suicide Squad is great.
When I first watched it on HBO Max in 2021, I was a little put off by the end third of the movie with the starfish. I was like, what is this? But now that I'm over that, I bought the 4K 2 years ago, and I just went to watch it, and the end of the movie was all glitched out. There's an issue with the disc. I was like, fuck. And I bought it from Best Buy, so I'm stuck. But yeah, I really liked the movie. But getting back to Concord, yeah, Overwatch was Game of the Year, in 2016?
Damn, was that long ago?
Yeah. I mean, it was still popular. It was still popular for 2-3 years after that. But even if they started it when it was still popular, 5 years later, it's like,
Well, when Overwatch 2 came out and took a doo-doo, you should have known that it's not that era is over.
You brought up Guardians of the Galaxy because I felt like such a Guardians of the Galaxy wannabe, and those. It's 12-13 minutes of a.
It's Guardians meet Overwatch.
It was 1/3 of the state of play with this game that just out of nowhere. It's like.
It was like 11 or 12 minutes.
It was 12 minutes out of like the 30.
12 minutes.
It takes up way too much time.
Dang.
Just show like 30 seconds of witty banter in the gameplay.
Well, here's my thing. You could have cut out the CGI and just shown me the gameplay stuff because all they spent like half of that was just the CGI.
They must be really proud of the writing.
Well, I'm not. Turn it off.
They must be really proud.
Clearly were. They clearly were. They were like, "Oh, we got him."
And then somebody showed that
we're gonna kill him with this one, boys.
The big guy that's like red with like a gray beard. Like there's a Guardians of the Galaxy.
You mean Drax? Oh no.
They
call him Star Child. He's not Star Lord. He's Star Child. See, that's how they get around.
But they showed a Guardians of the Galaxy character that looks almost, I wouldn't say identical, but very similar design. And I'm like, wow, they really just.
This is what is that fucking game? It's already forgotten.
You remember the Guardians of the Galaxy game?
No. I was gonna say the Splatoon knockoff.
Foam Stars.
Yeah, this is Foam Stars all over again, bro. This is Foam Stars all over again.
Do you think it got so much time because they thought maybe the Helldivers success might excite people based on the success of Helldivers, and they're like, oh, well, this is the type of game we want to push.
Well, there's a difference. Helldivers was fucking organic as hell. Nobody expected much. No pun intended. Nobody expected much from Helldivers, and including the developers. They didn't expect the fucking game to blow up the way it did.
They weren't ready. The servers were
ready. They weren't ready. So that was organic. This is so goddamn forced. It's like, remember the Guardians guys? Remember
the dude's even green. Ago? I mean, like Gamora. Like he's like you got. It's just like.
It's so. You guys remember Soul Calibur 2, right?
Yeah.
Remember that. Fucking there's a big talk about Todd McFarlane is developing a character. Was it Soul Calibur 2?
Yeah. Like Necrid or some shit.
Necrid. Todd McFarlane is making a character for Soul Calibur 2. It is the most generic garbage. Which character you can think? Necrid.
Which system got? Wasn't that exclusive to Xbox or something?
No,
No,
Xbox just had Spawn. All of them got that
yeah,
character.
everybody got Necrid.
I don't remember him.
Necrid.
Stupid ass orb
He
in the
had the
middle, some
big
shit
orb
like
on the
that.
middle of this. It was the weakest garbage. And some like weird arm thing. It was like, come on.
Every time I play with that game, I look at the character. I'm like, did he really design that though?
It was one of the designs he was gonna use for Spawn, and said that's too trash to even put in Spawn. I'm not gonna do it. And he said, "Here, give me some money. I'll put this character in the fucking game." And he got paid to do that shit. That was trash character, bro. That's what, and that's what this game is to me. It's like so generic.
So they're both running it.
So generic.
All right, I'm gonna risk sharing my screen. Hopefully, don't crash.
Granny titties.
Here we
So
go.
if we disappear, it's because I'm trying to share my screen. I think we're all right. We're live. So we were just talking about SoulCal. It made me think. I just wanted to show this because
What the hell?
I've been watching so many Mortal Kombat videos.
These guys made this cabinet from scratch. They put like a 50-inch LCD TV in it, and I could make I'm confident I could make it. I don't know how much it costs.
Make that.
I just got nowhere to put it because you can order these decals from a place that makes decals, and this is like the coolest damn thing I've ever seen. I'm like, I have no place to put that.
It's not just Mortal Kombat, right? Because I wouldn't go through
this
all
one
that.
They made this specifically to put in an arcade as a Mortal Kombat 1 cabinet. It's got an Xbox Series X in it.
Okay.
But obviously you could put Street Fighter in and its controls would still work. But they actually made this for an arcade to go into an arcade.
Okay.
And they put it.
People are still going to arcades.
Wherever they are, there's an arcade. They got all the Mortal Kombat.
Good for them, man. I'm glad.
Look at the buttons light up. I mean, that shit is legit. In Mortal Kombat 1, I didn't really pay that much attention to it.
You see the difference between the CRT ones and the LCD of flickering ass.
So, I wasn't really. I'm not really a modern Mortal Kombat guy, but I will say the production value they put into that for like the character selection and the matchup, like it's almost like they were hoping someone would make an arcade cabinet. It looks so perfect as an arcade game, and I don't know if Street Fighter 6 would work as well. But this is like that's some badass stuff, man.
I've been locked into the behind the scenes on Mortal Kombat algorithm.
Oh yeah.
So I've all these behind the scenes videos and seeing those guys in the studio all dressed up on the green.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah.
So I think this is the coolest. I'd probably consider making like just maybe a smaller scale one, but honestly, I don't have anywhere to put it.
Yeah, I want to do that. I kind of have room, but I don't.
I could do it for like a smaller one, make a normal size one, and just have like a Raspberry Pi or something in it.
Yeah.
And just have all the old games, but I'd love to have a Street Fighter 6 one and just like. I don't know. I'd just be playing by myself probably. So I don't have any like gaming
get people
friends
over there
locally.
in the dungeon.
But yeah, I'd probably put it in this room if I did it. I might do it anyway just for something to do. It sucks. I could have put the Series X in there before I sold it. That could have been
a cool project. You make a video series out of it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say the guys they're not the best when it comes to entertaining like in a video, but their work speaks for itself. So I thought that was cool. If anybody wants the link, I can put it in the chat. I think it's definitely cool if you like building stuff. That's something. And I wish they had more. They didn't have that much more content. I was hoping they'd have a bunch more builds and stuff. They didn't.
Lenny's comment is pretty hilarious. Who was excited to play iconic characters like Star Child, Gamora,
Rocket,
Zarak,
Robot.
and Robot.
Oh no!
Oh man, that was perfect. That was perfect.
Arcade cabinets and pizza and laundromat stores, yeah, and bowling alleys, convenience stores. That's where I played the Ninja Turtles arcade. Was in a convenience.
I had a
store.
dream last night about. I was in the '90s, basically, and I was at the fucking mall and I was playing. I think it was Marvel Superheroes versus Capcom or something. And I woke up and I was so angry.
Maybe I'll make a Marvel versus Capcom 2 cabinet.
Ooh.
What system do I need to run that?
I would use a Saturn shit. Or maybe that's Marvel. Yeah, Marvel Capcom 2. That was Dreamcast. I'm thinking Marvel Superheroes. But yeah,
You probably get an emulator too to run it.
Yeah, you probably just want get the real arcade main file instead of a Dreamcast version, which are pretty close. It's pretty close, but.
I mean, Soul Calibur was better in the Dreamcast. The arcade was trash, visually. It was a big downgrade. That was the first time that ever happened that I know of, where it was like
freaking amazing, better.
And it was the cinema had the original Soul Calibur a couple years after the Dreamcast was done, and I was like, wow, this is a step backwards. But
speaking of being annoyed by, I guess not fanboys, but okay, so I watched a Modern Vintage Gamer video today. And he was capping for the PS2 Emotion Engine. And he was talking about, oh man, it was more powerful if you think about it than fucking Xbox and GameCube. I'm like, really?
It could do a few things that those.
He would point out a few things. I'm like, well, okay. Like he talked about shadow classes and how the cloth effects and all that stuff was not really done in anything else. And I'm like, well, yeah. There's nothing else on the screen. It was a barren wasteland and then a giant monster.
Did he bring up Okami and it had like the texture?
Didn't bring up Okami
of like the.
Which surprised me.
What was
he brought up like Metal Gear Solid 2, and he was talking about the rain effects on the, which is pretty true. It did look really good. I remember looking really good on PS2, and then the Xbox version didn't look as good. And he was like, well, it's because of the Emotion Engine. I'm like, is that really true? Or was it not optimized for the Xbox? I think the Xbox could have done all those things too. It's like you forget sometimes ports don't look as good on other systems.
There was some issues with the Wii ports of original Xbox games that couldn't do it didn't have a certain, I don't know if it was built into the architecture, but it couldn't do a couple things. And technically,
does anybody remember fucking what was it, Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Adventure DX on GameCube? Utter garbage that port was. Right, Terrell? I said Sonic DX, the port to GameCube.
Yeah,
that was trash. Don't tell me the GameCube couldn't run Sonic DX or Sonic Adventure. Of course it could, but it just wasn't a good port. It wasn't optimized.
Yeah.
So to say that this proves the Emotion Engine was better than the Xbox, that's not fair because I'm sure Metal Gear Solid.
To me, that's cherry picking, is what that is.
Yeah. I just don't think that's fair especially for somebody like him who is a programmer, by the way. He's actually
one of his systems had.
No way, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, he doesn't look like it at all.
Jeez. I know there was a system that had like, I think Shadow Fox used to bring this up all the time. Like it had like a small pool of like DRAM or something. I forget what it was called, cache RAM or something. It was like 4 megabytes or something or whatever. But if a developer used it, it really could do something special. I forget what it did. And it's like, yeah, if developers would use this, and I don't think I don't think the Wii U had that, but. And it was like, yeah, this, you could tell the games where they utilize it. I don't remember what it did. Maybe it was a resolution thing. I don't know what it was, but there's little ins and outs to this hardware. I don't think we have that anymore. I don't with the Switch. I know we had a debate. I said day one with the Breath of the Wild. I said there's not gonna be some secret sauce where they're gonna make games just like look vastly superior to this. And I guess you could say the FSR technology has definitely helped with like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Princess Peach, Showtime. They all implement it and they can achieve what looks like a significantly higher resolution or sharper picture. But other than that, I don't feel like the Switch had any like secret sauce that they could work out. And I don't think the PS5, I don't see that.
Well, it's an architecture thing. I feel like we talked about this before. Because we were talking about the differences in consoles and how, some of the earlier consoles probably just going up to the Xbox 360 era where the games, you could see the games progress.
Yeah, we did talk about this, remember? Because I talked about the game engines were the thing that got better.
Right. And you just don't see that anymore because the architecture, for one, is very similar on each of these newer consoles. And as far as the chipset and the Switch, I mean, what is that? What is that?
Tegra?
What is that? It's Tegra. Yeah, the Tegra. like everybody already knows about that, and you can pretty much, if you're technical enough, you could figure that system
Plus,
out
they
pretty
downclocked
early.
it so significantly. They're,
Yeah. Other than breaking the clock speed somehow, unlocking the clock
well,
speed.
they did that to
not going to do
improve
much.
loading times. They let it clock up to max, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Otherwise, the loading times would be twice as long. So, I mean, they did find little things to utilize, but back in the day, it was just like, yeah, we got this new hardware. We got all the games we're making for the previous gen. How do we go now to 3D, or how do we go now to HD? It's like it took them a while, and I think that's pretty much gone now.
I'm surprised that nobody has done, no console has done what Nintendo did with the N64, the expansion slot, and you can add more RAM. Obviously that's something you can do on PC as well. I'm surprised nobody has done that.
They do it for storage, but not for RAM. Yeah,
it's storage, but not like RAM. Yeah, it's strange that
you couldn't play the.
You think that would be something that somebody would have done by now, huh?
Then as you couldn't play the glory that was Donkey Kong 64. You needed all the extra RAM for all those extra collectibles, man.
The game is gorgeous. It is one of the best looking N64 games. So I can see
Perfect Dark. I think it was just other modes.
Look at something like Chameleon Twist. Look at Chameleon Twist, or even Mario 64, and look at the visual difference between that and like Donkey Kong 64. It is vastly
Donkey Kong had a lot more texture work and probably a lot more geometry.
Not a better game.
Plus the size of the carts too got significantly bigger over the N64's life.
Went from 8 megabytes to what? Didn't they get up to 256? I think they 256 for Resident Evil 2. Yeah. So.
And DK64 could have been so much, man. It's such a shame.
It had one fatal flaw. To me, it only had one flaw, and the flaw is making every monkey collect everything. Yeah. No, don't do that. It had blue bananas, green banana. Like, come on, that's too much.
So
if they hadn't done that, it would have been great.
That just reminded me of something. I had a goal to platinum Stellar Blade, and I'm on my second playthrough. I'm near the end, and I'm like, all right, I got 2 hidden trophies. I got 2 more trophies, but I know what I need to do. What are these 2 missing ones? So I look it up. The game has 3 endings. I didn't know that. I know there's a choice at the end. You have to get all 3 endings to get the last trophy, and I'm like, I could have got 2 of the endings on my first playthrough if I would have known. I could have did a save scum technique, and I could have got both endings and done that, scratch it out. I'm like, I want to do a second playthrough. I don't want to do a third. I'm not doing a third playthrough. I thought it had something to do with the collectibles, all the documents. So I needed like 3 more. I looked up where the last 3 were, and I got 2. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get 100% this. And that's not even a trophy, getting all the collectibles. I was like, God, you kidding me? That's not a trophy, but so I'm like, I'm totally defeated. I was like, well, I know you can cut a lot of the game out by going straight through the main story, but I definitely, maybe someday down the road, I'll be 1 trophy shy of having them all. And I was like, God damn, because I get it, incentive to play the game a second time, but I don't like forcing the third playthrough for the trophy. That's a little too much. But I'd finished the game. The ending was actually, it got me sucked back in. I thought it was a pretty cool sequence. The story thing, like you get a choice. I chose one. I was just planning on choosing the other till I found out there's a third option. And I gotta say, like, I feel like they didn't play it up. Like, it wasn't consistent pacing with the story stuff. I thought it ended really strong. There was because I did a lot of exploration in between, so I had a lot of time in between, like the main stuff where you got some stories. And so I probably give the game around a maybe 8.5 range. Would be my final at this point. If it was me, I would recommend somebody playing it. I'd say, do some side content, because that does give you purpose to explore. And then you find things that help you level up your character and stuff. I wouldn't recommend skipping a bunch of it because then it's just very basic. So I think they needed to find a better mix of required stuff to do and non-required, because like there's this huge area called the Great Desert. That's where the oasis is with the fishing and stuff. There's a lot. It's a huge area. Literally, all you have to do is land, run to this, probably a minute run to this like entrance to this underground facility, and that's all you need to do story wise. Like there's this, it's the biggest area in the game, and it's completely optional. And I think that's, to me, that's like if somebody was just playing it straight, like wanted to rush through or doesn't really feel the need to explore, I think they'd miss out on just some pretty fun gameplay. The combat's really good. I never really got tired of that. Some of the enemies were a little annoying. There's a couple enemies, just like a lot of action games. Like I remember Ninja Gaiden had those stupid, they like double claw things, or they were claw guy. They attacked with their claws and they were frustrated.
Which one?
I don't. The first Ninja Gaiden, the 3D one.
NES?
No, on the Xbox. Okay. There's these dudes that I remember they had they attacked you with claws and they were really hard to block. And then they blocked all your attacks. So there's just a couple of those enemies. I'm like, man, I hate these enemies. I hate them. But overall, it was a fun game. And I just like, I'm gonna platinum this, and now I'm just completely deflated and kind of bummed. But apparently the game sold pretty well. They didn't give any numbers, but it was number 1 in April, which there wasn't really any competition. And then Japan, that's like 110,000 sold, not like huge numbers or anything. But as
long as it doesn't have to sell 8 million copies.
Yeah, I don't know what it needs to sell, but I'm gonna guess it's got to be close to 1 million. If 100,000 in Japan, it was number 1 in the U.S., number 1 in Europe, so I would guess it got to be close. They're talking about a PC port and potentially a sequel. So,
number 1 out of what other games?
Well, for the whole month, there's not a lot of competition right now, but. So yeah, that was my mini review.
I'm just saying, I hope it sells well, for what they needed to sell.
Yeah, like it might only need to sell.
They might need to sell 3 or even 2. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows, because they had been working.
I'm sure their budget wasn't that high.
But it's in Korea, I'm guessing the budgets it wouldn't be nearly as high as it would in the U.S. or the West to make a game. It's pretty it's pretty big scale when you do all the side content and stuff. It doesn't feel like it feels to me like probably a 4 or 5 year development cycle.
Which is still too long.
But that's probably because they didn't have a 3D engine. Like they were they made cell phone game, like waifu games, fan service games. So they probably had to design, and I think it used Unreal Engine 4. So it's kind of like their first big game. So maybe the next one could be quicker. I don't know. But overall, I thought.
Well, I just meant for the industry in general.
Yeah.
And I think that they're seeing, they're understanding that, because a lot of companies are talking about that now, and how trying to streamline their pipelines and all this shit.
Yeah, just look at even Nintendo now. The Zelda games. 6 years. Zelda,
even though it was using the same goddamn engine and the same goddamn world to some extent, and it still took that long. That's got to change,
And Naughty Dog was getting. Video. Go ahead. Sorry.
You're going exactly where I was about
they
to
were
go.
Every 3 years, and now with 2 teams, and now it's going on 4 years, and not even an announcement.
3 Grand Theft Autos on one system at one point, and now we're down to barely 1.
3 Uncharted in a 4 year span.
3 Uncharted, and it's not like they're trash; they're all really good. So. God of War, we had 4 on one system. Gears of War, we had 4. Like, we're down to barely 1. It's like, this is not sustainable.
And they don't have enough studios. If a studio takes 4 to 5 years in between games, they don't have enough studios to have a couple games every year.
You just barely got Gears of War pop. How many more games do you want?
But it's like that is the biggest negative to the hardware jumps in it, because it's like, yeah, we got all this power, like, we got 4K resolution, and like they can make a simpler game. They could, like, I think they could get away with it too. Look at what the success of Fortnite. on its original, the way it originally looked. Now it looks pretty good with the Unreal Engine 5 update, but not the game doesn't have to look.
Well, I don't think it's just looks. These goddamn games are too goddamn long. That's another problem too. A lot of these games are just too damn long, and they're afraid. A lot of these companies are afraid because they think people will think, well, there's no value in a 10-hour game, and it's like a lot of people would love to have a really good 10-hour game these days, bro. Like, that's not a problem. Just make a good 10-hour game. You don't need to make a subpar 70-hour game. Like,
I'm against
well,
like
everybody has like that time to invest so many hours in the game because you'll be playing like one game for like years.
Right. And everybody's trying to vie for that attention from you. The one game where you go to every day or every week, and there's only so many people who are going to be playing your fucking game. We got other things to play.
I think this, for me personally, the sweet spot is a 20-hour game. Like that's.
I think 20 hours.
That
15.
That feels like.
I would say 15. 15, a good 15-hour game. Like that.
I mean, I wouldn't be against it, but for me, like when I feel like, yeah, that was a good. I'm glad I bought it. If I like the game, obviously, like 20 hours for me is like, and I got.
I mean, if the company themselves are making, they'll say we want this game to be at least 15 hours, because then who knows? Everybody plays games differently. We talked about this. Their 15 hours could be 20, 25 for me. It depends on how you play it. So
it depends on the type of game too. Like,
right,
like Stellar Blade. You could I don't know what the time is to speed run. I would guess it's like under 10 hours, but there's like it really feels like you're skipping a lot of the game. But to explore everything, like I was just trying to find everything on my own without looking stuff up. I had like 57 hours in the game by the time I beat it, and that's because I was trying to do all the side missions. I did all the side missions, trying to like explore, find all you find all these like dead soldiers with their last memories on them. I was just trying to collect everything and upgrade my character. Now, I was enjoying that, but if somebody was like, man, this combat's fun, but I just want to get to the end, I think they have that option. But then a lot of games do this where the last, quote unquote, the point of no return, it could be a 5-hour, could be 5 hours more. Like you're past the point of no return. Like now you got 5 more hours to go. You're like, was it Terrell? You were like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Hyrule Castle now and Tears of the Kingdom. And like, wait, you didn't even do the 5th stage yet, did you? And even if you like didn't do that, you were still a lot further than you thought you were, I think. And there was a game recently, not recently, but another game that happened to me like that, where I was like, I didn't know this was going to be a 2-hour finale. Like, I don't know if it was Cyberpunk. It was something. I was like, yeah, I didn't know I booted this up to beat it. I didn't know it was going to be 2 hours later before I beat it.
Is Horizon like that?
What?
Like the point of no return? I don't think it's that long.
I don't think, no.
No, it's not that long.
And the second one either. Like,
it might be like an hour and a half. Which that's fine. But 5 hours for a finale, that's insane.
And it's not like you can't say. It's not like there's no in Stellar Blade. I know Robert Rule 2 was complaining. It's like it's not like there's not a bunch of save spots in between there. It's just like, hey, I'm selecting the point of no return. I didn't know I had like 5 more hours of game to play.
I hate all that shit anyway. The whole point of no return thing. Like, bro, just give me a save point before the final boss. That's it. If the final boss takes a while, that's one thing. But don't give me like, the point of no return, and then like, I'm at the end of the game, and then you're playing for like fucking 4 hours at night, and I gotta go to fucking work tomorrow. Like, again, how long is this still gonna go?
I did go through that.
You say that.
It was a game I went through then too.
Final boss. I'm thinking like, what's the fucking game? The one made by the developers of Metroid Prime. What was that Xbox game? Why can't I think of the name? Recore. So like Recore, the final boss is like on the 8th floor or some shit. So you go to this fucking, it is fucking hard. A few months ago, I did like a video, and I used it as my background video, and it's like platforming hell, and it's like there's like you go up these different floors. I want to say it's like 5 or 6, and so once you get to that, it's like a pyramid area. Once you get to that, you can't go back. So that's your point of no return. So, I forget who was just saying about the right before the final boss. Well, from the beginning of that pyramid to the final boss, depending on how good you are. I mean, I think I'm a pretty decent gamer. It could be 1 hour or it could be 8 hours because you're dying so much trying to get to the final boss. Because those goddamn levels,
it's because they do that
because it's fucking hard. It's hard as shit, and it keeps me engaged. And it's not cheap. It's not cheap hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of platforming, and if you fall, it's because you fell. It wasn't like a fucking control thing or anything like that. It's fair, but man, like on one floor, you got this crazy jumping platforming area, and then you get to this fucking arena battle, and that, god damn, some of them arena battles are tough as shit, and you get out of it, and you go through, and you go to the next floor, and it's just like, holy shit.
I think personally, the biggest issue now is when you get that point of no return thing, especially depending on the game. But for me, like in RPGs, assume you got a whole ass dungeon to do before the final boss. Don't ever just go into the point of no return and go, oh, I'm about to fight the final boss. No, you about to do at least one more long ass dungeon, then the boss, and whatever cutscene related stuff happens within the boss.
Cutscenes usually these days also.
So like I don't remember. It might have been X's ending. I remember it was like late at night. It was either X's or I'm thinking Kingdom Hearts 3, where I was like, fuck it, I'm at the end. It gave me the point of no return. Let's get it. And then I was like, damn it, it's still going on for 2 hours. I need to go to sleep.
Yeah. X wasn't like that, because X is like you get to the fucking.
Was it exactly the final boss?
And you're like there.
Yeah,
you're
save right at the final boss.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
What sucked though, wasn't there if you lost your skull and it restarted you, you didn't restart at your save file. You had to boot up your save file to start back when you had the skull. If you just died and resurrected, then you'd have to go back, pay for your skull to get repaired. And it's like that was a dumb design. Like any game that you're fighting the boss and you're using resources and you die and you don't have those resources again, to me, that's a bad design.
Bullshit. That's bullshit.
What's up, Sandstorm? Why don't you just jump in at the end here? Oh, you're muted. Come on, bro.
Use your real voice.
Come in here like an amateur.
Is the mic shot?
You got your the right microphone engaged?
Oh, he done fucked up the game. Wow.
I can't hear you. Anyway.
So we got mimes in here now, okay?
You got sign language?
Listen, I'm back now. Okay?
Damn Ravenclaw.
Oh, no, yeah, bullshit.
Did you hear about the update? What is it, Thursday for Hogwarts, or is it Friday?
No, I didn't. What's the update?
There's a new, I think there's a new Hogsmeade quest and some other new content.
Oh, is it the quest that PS5 got? I thought we got that quest.
No, I think it's something else. I think it's something brand new. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
But I think it's on the 5th or 6th of June.
Interesting. Yeah. Hey, if they want to keep giving us more work, I
don't mind a reason to come back to it for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if they want to throw us a little hint of year 6, I'm fine with that too.
I backed up most of my photos.
Speaking of tough platformers for our platforming fans, fucking Grapple Dog, that shit looks like a cake. I just beat the second to last boss, and God, I must have died 50 times on that.
Oh, yeah.
That shit is hard. But again, it's fair. Like, you go through, obviously you go through the different, what do they call them? Segments of the final boss. Like, he has different
stages.
There's a word. What is it?
Stages.
I feel like that's not the word I'm looking for, but yeah. So you go through that.
Or phase.
Obviously, phases. Thank you.
Yeah, phases.
Phases. Yeah. You go through the different phases, and you're like, you have to die because you don't know what the boss is gonna do and shit, that kind of stuff. And it's just like, but you get to a point where like, all right, I know what it's gonna do, and you start dying on earlier shit that you shouldn't be dying on, that you should know, like the earlier phases, and like, fuck, it is tough as balls. And if that's the second to last boss, what is the final boss like? Oh my God, I'm scared.
A letdown. That's usually how it works.
You think? I don't know. This game is surprising the shit out of me. It's very good. It's very good.
So now you said
Yeah.
something about Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of having that same thing, and if I remember correctly, they do that like when you're like kind of in the city and like the city, if you will, and they're like, oh, this is the point, the point of no return moment, and then you
Yeah.
have like a couple phase fights with it, and then it like breaks off, and it allows you, I think you get the key, one of the keys, and it allows you to like save at that point.
No,
You're
I know
like,
what you're talking about. So there's two parts of it. There's the when you get to the Keyblade graveyard and you're thinking, okay, this is where the shit's about to go left, and then
yeah,
you do all the fights in there, and then it's like, okay, not, and you're talking about the big ass city, looks really beautiful, but you
yeah,
only go there once. You
yeah.
save there, and then you do this long ass fight with these fucking clones or shadows. Then you fight them yourself, and then you're underwater, and then it fucking teleports you to like a whole new arena, but you don't save in that arena. You fight them again in the arena, and then it does that cool thing where you get killed, and if you have your PS4 controller, it's like you can hear Goofy and Donald being like,
Yeah.
Sora, do your shit. That's a whole thing. That's all from the city until you beat him is like a whole thing. And it's like a good like hour or so of cutscene and fight. And I'm just like, it's 12 o'clock. I gotta go to bed.
Right.
I'm tired. Like
Die
what?
already.
Well, yeah, because especially because I don't know, certain portions of that fight are annoying as fuck. That's a whole other issue.
I bet it's not. I'm sure Retro can vouch for this one. Bionic Commando, that final fucking
Oh man.
screen size space battle station you're fighting. My God, you talking about like ramping up from difficulty? It is insane to ramp up when you get to that final fight. I remember like leaving my NES on because you can't fucking save the goddamn thing. Leaving my NES on and covering the fucking button so my mom couldn't tell it was red, it was powered on. So she was over and turn the shit off while I was at school.
I used to do the same thing, but the paper was too thin, so the light would shine through. And then my dad fucking turned the system off and shit.
Classic.
That sucks. That happened to me with Sonic 2. I remember I was like, she turned the shit off. It took me fucking forever.
I know, yeah, because you only do that once you go so far. You're like, I don't want to turn it off because then I don't want to play it again.
They give you what, like 3 rings or some bullshit when you fight them?
In Sonic, yeah, in Sonic 2, yeah.
Sonic 2, yeah.
I thought you were talking about Sonic 1, you don't get any rings. That's why I was like,
shit, yeah.
That's why I hate that fight. I hate that fight so damn much. And then I saw the Game Boy Advance port of that game, and I went, "Oh, you lagged me out on a GBA cart. This is terrible." Shit is, I hate it. I hate it so much. Hard fight. The problem is I've been dealing with hard fights lately, just through the fucking Soul series. From Software has got my ass whooped. I'm tired of getting my ass whooped in fights, bro. I need a normal experience. That Elden Ring shit from last year, I was like, yo,
I can't get in. I try. I can't. Maybe I just need to play Elden Ring because it seems like it'd be more retro.
Here's the rule though. If you play Elden Ring, if you want a comfortable time, do not do purely physical in Elden Ring. If you pick a decent amount of magic in any of your thing, you'll be fine. But man, I felt like I played hard mode within a hard mode.
Well, you played hard mode for sure, but I still played physical. But I used my shield a lot, and I wasn't carrying a 2-handed sword, so I still had quick attacks. And I mean, basically, caters to your style of play. Like Retro Death, you beat. The last I heard, you had beat. Who's the guy at that Stormville Castle? Like the main boss.
The names are kind of similar.
Not Morgoth. You're talking about.
It wasn't
the grafter. I forgot what his name was.
Oh, the dude who gets the dragon arm halfway through the fight. Yeah, no, Godfrey or not Godfrey.
Something like that.
The name is very similar to the final boss. I think that's why I keep like confusing it.
But Retro Death was like you were like doing mass exploration. I don't know how leveled up you were by the time you got to the castle, but
dude, like I was having a trouble getting him halfway done. Then like you start killing him, I'm like, okay, I might make this. And then he gets the fucking dragon arm. He's one of the first bosses and shit. He gets the fucking dragon arm. I die in like 1 hit. I'm like, Jesus Christ. That's why I turned the online on and like I used some of my magic to summon shit. I had a bunch of extra people, and then I was fucking still barely made
Yeah, I
it.
mean, you can have AI companions help you. You could have, you know,
They give you options.
you
I'm
can.
actually stuck at like a new boss in the game now.
What's
But
he do?
I think he's optional. I'm not sure. I found this cave. I went underground. Was this giant ass statue of like a reaper on a chair, and this giant ass dragon in a suit or some shit.
I
I forgot what he's
might.
called.
If
He's called something like Dragon Knight something. I forgot what he
I
was
think
called.
that definitely sounds like an optional boss because I don't think I ever fought him.
Yeah,
Because
that
it's
was
in
one
the
thing-
cave where there's all these ants and stuff in the cave.
There was
and
a
then-
there was a
Even where the ants
suggestion.
are. Damn, dude, that's pretty far.
So he was
right up my alley.
I don't know if he
Those
got the
are the-
count
that's the
yet.
things
I was
I
like, you're
loved
gonna
about
suffer, dude.
Dark
Fucking hate
Darksiders
Khaled.
2 was like the random bosses hiding in different areas and shit. Like, oh no, I'm not ready to fight this guy. Let's get the fuck out of here. Those
The
are some of
problem with
coolest-
Elden Ring, I feel, is like I feel I do decent damage to a lot of bosses, but I still fucking die in like 3 hits. You know?
Oh yeah, the idea is you better learn them patterns like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You
Learn
know,
the
if you,
patterns.
or you have to have a certain fighting style that keeps you away from certain
Some
bosses.
some my style worked really well on some bosses, and then like others, I struggled so much. And I watched somebody play it on like a stream or something, and I'm like, man, they beat him so easy because I like to be up close, be attacking, and some enemies, some bosses, that's just like destiny.
Elden Ring for the most part very much favors long range play. You can win up close, but you're definitely playing the game at a
wouldn't
hard
say
Yeah, I focus
capacity.
heavy on the magic stuff, and then I just learned to like work with my shield very well, so that I can just do a lot more close combat for like lighter enemies and stuff.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
Like
fine.
most bosses, I start just going fucking long range to see what they're gonna do and shit.
I think there's only a certain handful of bosses towards the end of the game where I'm like, yeah, this shit was not designed for you to fight this thing close range. Like Malekith is literally one of my least favorite bosses in the fucking game. I hate that fucker. His second phase is ridiculous, and you'll know when you get to him. Fucking giant dog that has attacks that go across the damn field. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I struggled
then
with
I end
him
up-
for sure. But anyway, let's get on to we talked about E3 a little bit earlier, but we didn't really get, all the
Oh,
way
I
in.
still made it for that conversation, huh? Oh, nice.
Because I feel like this year, like I feel like I'm missing E3 like for the first time. I mean, there hasn't been an official E3 since before COVID, right? 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just felt like
That was
the
the
other
last one.
shows were kind of like decent enough, but this year, just like the question I think I posed on the title was like, is it affecting the gaming industry not having this week of hype where people going to the show, reporting from it, hands on with games? Instead, we're getting different digital events, basically directs. And if the directs aren't very good, then there's nothing else to follow suit. There's no treehouse. There's no 3 days of coverage. And for me, it's hitting more this year than the last 3. I was like, man, it'd be nice to have be excited for 4 straight days of gaming coverage.
Facts.
Summer Game Fest.
Is that even a thing this year? I didn't even hear about it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah,
those have been bad.
They just came up.
What was
Twitter
last
post
year's
about,
Jeff Keighley got to make that money, man.
Last year there was
Summer Game
yeah.
Fest is was it Friday? I think
I feel like he had the big announcement last year was
he did
the year before it was The Last of Us Part 1. Last year I don't remember.
He already announced that there wasn't going to be one more big announcement or anything like that.
Yeah,
Didn't-
he
I
did
don't
like
think
a
any
Nothing
Microsoft's
special.
got a few games this year.
Microsoft's thing
Sony
is
didn't have any
Sunday.
first party, but they had some bigger games by April. But for the rest of the year, Nintendo.
When is Nintendo?
We don't have a
They've
date.
announced
on
it
it.
yet.
Oh, they didn't announce
No.
it. They just they
No,
say
this
this
week,
summer or
honestly.
anything.
That's why I've been saying, if you go on Twitter, you'll see Nintendo Direct constantly trending because people are just like, bruh, give me something. Dog.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Give me
I still
something.
don't
Give
get-
me anything.
like.
He said that
Why
he
can't you
hopes
announce
that,
a date?
Nah, you gotta keep that.
Oh,
hype
he's
going.
gone. He's frozen today. Wait, is Juice frozen?
I
Oh,
should be
okay.
frozen.
You gave him the ice.
Your face was turning in a direction
I
for
was
so long.
reading
I
something.
thought you were frozen. I was like, no, the host is gone as well.
You gave
Someone
him the
go get
Sub-Zero.
Someone go get tea. Somebody go help tea.
Oh, he might be frozen.
I know
Hit
he
him with-
is. That's
Yeah,
why I
hit
made
him
the
with
You're
the
joke.
talking about
uppercut.
me.
Hit him with the uppercut.
Get over here. It's terrible.
So Terrell, before we
What's
get
up?
onto the E3, because I just seen something on Twitter.
What happened?
What do you think of the Monster Hunter blondie girl? She reminds me of the
Don't
girl
put me in
from
this
Devil May Cry 5. I don't know if you played that yet.
You talking about oh, that's the one I still need to play.
Oh.
I think you're talking about Trish.
In Monster
Oh!
Hunter, the new Monster Hunter.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about the Devil May Cry girl you were referring
Well,
to.
she kind of reminds me of her in some ways, but
I mean, I like her. I like the design. If that's what you're asking.
yeah, I saw something on Twitter about it.
Yeah, yeah, we like the design.
I like the
the fan art is gonna be crazy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Looks
The
like
fan
it's
This
art's
gonna
is
be
about the
fun.
time for T to freeze up, though. That's for sure.
I know. If he's on that Mac, I'm gonna be validated. If not, then you know. Damn.
All right, so
He took him out. T.
Some bullshit, boy. I tell you.
I see Roger Base is saying he thinks Kingdom Hearts 4 could be at the Summer Games Fest.
That's what people have been talking
Or-
about. I don't think I
Really?
need
Already?
Well, think about it. Sandstorm
Let's
3
see.
came out in 2019. It's been like 5 years.
When did they
Yeah,
just
but they
announce?
announced
I feel
Kingdom
like they
Hearts.
just
Lots of
announced
people
it.
keep asking about. Kingdom Hearts.
Hold on. Let me see.
I don't know why?
Let me make sure.
We did.
We're in
we did
24,
Final
22
Fantasy,
maybe?
Rebirth last
No.
year.
Oh, yeah,
let me see.
Rebirth was the big game last year at the Summer Games Game Fest. That's right.
Let me see when it was announced. Because we got that trailer April 22.
Yeah, 22. Yeah.
So it's been about a little bit over 2 years. They could have a trailer. I mean, hell.
Another one. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, like a one that might
Something a
be-
little more solid.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm like, there's nothing else from Square I can see. I mean, we already got Final Fantasies.
Breaking news.
Although people did say the Dragon Quest 3.
Breaking
Dragon
news.
Quest was up.
It's not really breaking news. Kena Bridge of Spirits is coming to Xbox on August 15th.
What the fuck?
Xbox One and Series X.
I'll get that on Game Pass.
Finally gonna get some good shit to play on Xbox.
I mean, it's a fun
Okay.
game. I wouldn't, I liked it, but I wouldn't. It's not
T is
like-
revived. T, how are you feeling?
Not
You
like
came
God
back
tier.
from the void. T, you been back from the void. You got back from the gulag. You all right, buddy?
They tried to
Sue
keep
these
you down.
motherfuckers.
They
They're
tried to
trying
keep you
to keep a strong man down. That's crazy.
down.
What was happening? What was the last question? Somebody asked. As
I don't know what
Moved
the
it out.
last thing you heard.
What was
I
that
kinda-
thing you heard? 'Cause you
I heard
were in
you.
the void.
I could hear you the whole time until like
Is it just
last-
Discord that freezes for you?
no, my internet is definitely going out. Like I could see the modem turning red.
Tell your kids to get off that shit. It's getting crazy.
I don't think that is the fucking company.
No more
what-
tablets tonight. What the fuck?
Get off that Fortnite.
Get off the
Even
Fortnite.
they don't play Fortnite anymore.
Oh, it's terrible.
They play Among Us. and shit.
Are they? What? Really?
My daughter does. My son doesn't.
I thought we were past Among Us. There you
Roblox
go.
still
Oh
a
wow, they're over on their gigs.
Is
Yeah, Roblox.
Stable internet.
He hit that data cat. That data cat came and called him like a motherfucker. Excuse me, sir. You only had about 300 megabytes for this month. I think we're gonna have to cut you off. Like, what the
You're
fuck?
pushing it. You're pushing it.
All right, sir. You in this podcast of loose juice. You're gonna have to cut all this shit down now.
That's enough.
That's enough.
Anyway, get back to the E3
It's
discussion.
time to stop. I'm enjoying it. It's entertaining. God damn it.
Did Juice not actually freeze? Oh god, I thought he fucking
See?
froze as well.
Juice doing that
I'm
thing
just
where
checking
he's
Twitter
reading.
for stuff.
You're doing that thing where you're looking over and reading, but your body's perfectly still.
Dude, that was like.
And so
a
you just,
still image,
it's kind
bro.
of like, you're just kind of
Yeah.
like that's what it is. It fucked me up. He got that fucking. Oh, T's
It's
face
like a
is terrible.
statue, man. It's crazy.
We got a new
T got the-
DualSense
T-
controller come out
T
for
doing
Astro.
that duck lips is ruining me.
T got the face of a man who just been data capped.
I'm put a cap in your data, sir. Chill out, man. You good? T, we see you. You're moving in 30 frames, I think, or 24 because it's cinematic.
Cinematic.
It's cinematic. We got the 24 frames.
God damn it. God damn it, man.
All right, we see you, T. You good? You in them 24 cinematic frames? You good?
Was that the Order 1886 for that started?
Yeah, it was. That's why I make the joke. It's one of the best Sony games of all time, baby. PlayStation for life.
That's an example where I think it was a genuine complaint to like to bring up the game's length, because they hyped that, they revealed that CGI trailer, this new studio, people, it was like Santa Monica and this other studio, and it was like, man, this can be awesome. And then the game comes out and it was like just a cinematic, barely any gameplay. I forget how long that game was.
Wasn't it 4 or 5 hours? Something crazy absurd.
And I was like,
Yeah.
it depends on the expectations. Like if you know from the get go, hey, this is gonna be a small. I don't think anybody would have been like mad about it. You know, it's like,
Yeah, but that's not how they sold it and stuff. That's why it was so
it
crazy.
was like, I mean, really, it was gonna be like the first like big next gen PS4 game. I kind of how I remember it feeling when it was announced. The Order 1886, how they launched like this epic cinematic. The studio, it was Santa Monica and somebody else joined together for this new studio, its new game. And it's like, you know, sometimes the expectations might not be fair, that people expected something more, but that's what happened.
Right.
Well, when you're charging full price and you hype that shit to Kingdom Come. I think if the game was like actually good, like better,
I think
it would have gotten somewhat of a pass.
I think it's probably still holds up pretty well visually too. I haven't
visually
seen it.
it's probably really nice to look at, but
we keep getting distracted. I don't know. I thought the E3 discussion would be a lot more involved.
I mean, what? Just the degradation of E3?
I guess
pardon me, but I keep getting cut off by my fucking.
That's hurting.
So I don't even know what you guys even said.
We haven't gotten
really
to it yet.
haven't said anything. We're distracted by you getting. Talk about Summer's Game Fest, then we got distracted by like, is it Kingdom Hearts 4? And then he announced that there's no one more game, and then last year it was Final Fantasy Rebirth was the big game at the end, and it's like that wasn't that exciting, I don't think. So
well, I think the problem is that if we're talking about like our major three companies, right? Xbox kind of took a lot of excitement from people when, you know, you talked about closing and fucking up studios because of the new direction you're heading. And not saying that they don't still have game announcements, but it kind of hurt. Like, man, you had a pretty decent year last year. Let's undercut that by closing a bunch
and you
of studios.
were looking to have a good one this year. You had a lot of good buzz behind your Indiana Jones and Avowed, and it's pretty decent buzz, and you just fuck it all up. It's like I said, they would take 2 steps forward and fucking 5 steps back.
Exactly. And then if you go over to Sony was like, yeah, we're not gonna have any major like first party releases this year, and you're just like, damn, what? Okay. And it's like, okay, well, we got some decent third party titles,
or some Nintendo,
or some
you got
console
Super Princess Peach skating around.
All right, look. I was gonna get all right. So here's the problem. Nintendo's issue is Nintendo has like probably the most hype behind it, but we're also in that lull year of the Switch.
I hate it.
Where people are just kind of like, hey guys, I know you got a new console. Can we talk about that? Well, I mean, we still got a whole 2024 left. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
That's what I was gonna get into. What is it with all the goddamn secrecy at this point? Like, there's no trade secrets you're gonna keep from anybody that's gonna wow anybody and like, oh, they're gonna steal our idea. I remember they used to say that shit back in the days, like, oh, we don't want to let our competitors know.
You still think that's the reasoning now, though?
But like, yeah, that's what I'm asking. What is it now? You can't announce that we're gonna
stock purposes. I think
we're gonna do this on this day. We're gonna announce the next console. Like that would have been an E3 thing, okay? Like, we already know what the Switch is at this point. It'd be kind of one thing to hide what the Switch is, so your competitors don't get a leg up on you on that. But we already know Switch 2 is pretty much going to be a Switch 2, right? So what is the point of hiding shit? Like,
I think
we need to ask for
Nintendo's
this. We're just asking, hey, we're gonna reveal this on this day. What I mean,
I think they're just preparing it, because again, you know, like the way it went in the past with the Wii U, it was such a disaster. The fact that the Switch picked up, you know, because they took their time, like, you know, the end of the Wii U was like crazy, you know, because they took their time preparing the Switch. I just think that's what they're doing again, you know. At the very least, they told us now, you know, look, the Switch is gonna go.
Okay.
You know, the new system is coming, so they're like preparing everything to like have the games there and have everything there. They probably just really don't want to trick all the information and just have this great showcase with everything coming at once.
The Switch is out now. It's been out for 6 years now. Why do I have to wait to know what's gonna come for the rest of the year? Okay, there's no Switch 2 this year. Fine, beautiful. What do I have to look forward to on my Switch this year? Why do I have to wait for that at this point? You're not surprising anybody. You're not, I guess, unless you have some big surprise, I guess you would want to hold that, I guess. But at this point, you're not like, you're not changing.
I guess in my mind, it's more like, you know, they announced the end of the Switch is coming. So I'm literally sitting here like, I'm not expecting anything huge to come still to the Switch until the end, you know, to carry us over. I don't really see it. They might have like, and they announced the game that was going to come still at the end of the year.
That's the problem, because they said themselves that they want to have a good transition from this console to the next.
Yeah.
Everything that they've announced from, I don't know, E3 time last year, that's coming out by summer this year, I don't care about at all. Like, I've already played these games. Okay, you're making remasters of games I already played. I have no. What do you have for everybody else? What do you have for the core fans that, you know, already played this stuff? I would like to know. I don't think that's too crazy to know what I'm playing on my Switch.
Maybe it's also like, you know, do you want to be buying a bunch of games still like a couple months before a new system launches anyway?
If I can play it on this new system, I don't care.
Yeah, that would be a fair point. I think the problem is Nintendo's notoriously not had good transitions into like their new consoles.
Yeah, they've acknowledged that themselves.
So it's kind of like, I don't really, if the new system is backwards compatible with the old system, then you should be releasing a new game that isn't a remaster or like a remake on.
I don't care about Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door. I don't care about
got Princess Peach, man.
I don't care about
don't do that. Also, that was months ago. We're talking about a smooth transition.
I don't care about Luigi's Mansion.
Like, put it this way.
I forgot about that.
If you look at the end of the PlayStation 4, right? We got what? Ghost of Tsushima that last year. Didn't we get Last of Us 2 that last year? Because
you got like nothing for the first 3 years of the PlayStation 5.
Hey, the point I'm making is that Sony
PlayStation
is a good
4 for that matter.
Well, all I'm saying is that Sony's had a better at least transition into their new consoles by.
Sony fans just buy the consoles no matter what. It doesn't count.
Sony consoles have always been really good. That's one thing. Their launches are garbage. They're just garbage launches. But they're the end of their life cycle. They understand that let's put out some real good shit here and transition to our next console.
Exactly.
They understand
to the point where their old consoles are still selling decently well, even with their new console out.
And you can't even find like a new PS4.
And I'll say this for me personally.
For Nintendo consoles.
Well, I'll say this for the last two PlayStation consoles, PS4 and PS3. I've had the same reaction when both of those consoles generations technically ended with the new console. I was like, damn, why did you end this so
need a
early?
New console? Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind
so good right now. You're thinking, man, do we even need a new console?
Yeah, that was my biggest thing. I'm like, you finally hit like a decent stride, and it's like, boom, new console. I'm like, well, how would you rather transition into that way, or damn, there ain't nothing else to play on the Wii? I guess I need that new console.
Meanwhile, these Switch bitches been wanting a new console since 2018.
Exactly.
Can I get a new console, please? Can I have a Switch Pro? Can I have a Switch Pro, please? They want a new console since then.
Yeah.
So you got to get better at the end.
Like the last year of the
especially when you have games that we know that you have, like fucking Metroid Prime 4 and shit. Like, Where's Metroid Prime 4, bro?
But come on,
I mean,
realistically, do you want Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch now when the new console is gonna come out?
But if it's backwards compatible, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
I would
like,
rather
No,
them.
but if it's backwards compatible, then you're gonna get the same shit again. You're gonna get a Switch game on the new system. I
No,
mean,
Yeah,
Okay,
but
that's
I
a
would
problem
rather them.
now.
Hold on. I would rather them.
problem
I
now.
would rather them show off Prime 4 on the new Switch and say that it's backwards compatible than them show it on the Switch and then being like, yeah, it's backwards compatible, so you can play it on.
see,
the
I
reason why-
disagree because
Well,
I
here-
would
wait,
want
here-
the
here-
new game to
Twilight
just
Princess,
graphically be way above
Breath
all
of the
that
Wild.
stuff.
No. But here's the thing I noticed because people looked into like they debugged like Thousand Year Door remake and noticed that there are like files in there for 4K textures. So the implication is that like there are gonna. It's not just.
That
I
Nintendo likes
was
to waste time. with
Animal
stuff that they never
Crossing's
use.
New Horizons logo was 4K textures and shit. It means
Yeah,
nothing.
Nintendo likes to waste time with stuff that they'll never use. That's what that means. That's all that should mean.
I hate that as a statement. I hate it.
They
Is
do it
that-
all
is
the
that-
time. People think
that-
they, oh, I got you. I know what y'all doing. No, you don't. You don't know what the hell they're doing.
So this is the main
Is-
of the reasons I hate cross-gen games. If you take Prime Force an example that have been working on for so long, you're like, oh yeah, let's get this as a swan song of the Switch and shit, you know, like to push your Switch. No, fucking show me what the next system can do with a giant ass game we've been waiting for
That's
so
why I
long.
said that. That's
Well,
why I
the
said
next
that.
system can play
You
that
would rather
game.
see the
but in 4K.
cinematic
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
gameplay
There you go.
as the Switch 2 version, and then be like, oh yeah, it's also backwards compatible, so you can
Yeah,
play
but-
it on the Switch.
But again, backwards compatibility, that's a double-edged sword because what does that entail? Does that mean it's going to be held back for the new system because else it won't run, you know? Or is it just going to be like
Breath
a
of the
jank
Wild.
version?
Well, that's why you show it then for the Switch 2. instead
Twilight
of
Princess,
the original
Breath
Switch.
of the Wild. This is not anything new for Nintendo
No,
to do.
but I know
So-
that. But like I said, that's why I hate cross-gen jank. I hated all those fucking things. Because again, the Twilight Princess,
Well, those
they
ones,
did-
yeah, there was
they
two
don't
separate
graphically go
versions to
different,
buy,
they just
though.
fucking Twilight Princess
Well,
just
Yeah,
mirrored
those
the
were
whole
two separate
goddamn
versions.
game.
You weren't like
Okay,
buying the same game.
You say that, but did Skyward Sword blow your socks off?
Fuck Skyward Sword.
There's a
Right.
difference.
Exactly. When they had all that time
Crazy.
to make a game for that specific console, it wasn't like, oh my god, this is
It's the same
killing
thing we said
Twilight
about Breath
Princess.
of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, we keep saying, is technically not a fucking Switch game. It's
not
a
a Switch
Wii
game,
U
it's a Wii U
game
game.
that they ported over, you know.
But the
Mhm.
So you're gonna
difference
get the
is,
same thing now. I don't want that at the end of this system to now, for example, get a whole bunch of shit on the Switch with a new fucking console there. Show me what this new fucking console
Okay,
can
so
do.
let's
Like, you guys
let's
are
say I
shitting
agree with
always
that.
on
You're
Luigi's
gonna get
Mansion,
a
for
difference,
example.
though. You're gonna get a difference.
Let's say I
whether-
agree with that.
Now
But-
you want a difference.
I still wanna know
we've
what
never had a
I'm gonna
difference
play.
like that.
On the console, like again, I have nothing to look forward to. So far, I've had nothing to look forward to in the first half of this year for my Switch, and because I don't know what's going on in the second half, I have nothing to look forward to for that either. That's pretty sad for a
But I think-
console.
I think
you
the
know, I've
biggest
had.
difference. I think the biggest difference is though retro, and why I say you'll probably get that difference is because if you look back retrospectively, all puns intended. From between the Wii and the Wii U, the difference was there was 1080p, but there wasn't a cross-gen game there, if I remember correctly. But even if you go from the Wii U to the Switch, both of those were 1080p machines. So
And there's
You
two. You have to
weren't-
buy two separate versions. So
yeah,
it's not
you
backwards
weren't
compatible in
really
that situation.
going to get a visual difference.
Yeah,
Now,
actually, backwards
under-
compatibility didn't even work the same
under
way.
all
You had to go to
intents and
Wii mode to play
purposes,
shit.
yeah, under all intents and purposes, we think that it's going to have some sort of 4K, whether that's DLSS or whatever, blah 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 blah. The difference is like the original Switch would be 1080p, and even if they decided to do, I don't know, whatever's the next closest to 4K, obviously it can't be 2K because,
I guess,
like you
but
said, there's
that's
not too
maybe
many
the
2K
difference, 'cause-
devices. Then you'll at least get some sort of visual difference. So if they're showing it off for the Switch 2 and they give you that 4K visual, then you will at least be able to see, okay, this is the reason why I got it for Switch 2.
Bro, you
versus
guys are
the
talking about a
original.
lot of stuff that Nintendo does not give a
No.
shit about.
But
They
that's
don't care
what I
about
mean, because you got a lot of
this
like
stuff.
1080p's and this and maybe some sharper. No, I don't give a shit. I want the new
When does
Switch.
Nintendo
But
care about?
because
Oh, we want.
people have always been saying this
Never.
stuff. We want Nintendo to go back with the power. We want a strong console. If you got a fucking Metroid Prime 4 that looks this borderline the same, but maybe 240 more P's on this shit, like, this is mad as always. I want this game on the new Nintendo to just be way over. You know how Juice and I, we always joke about the fact that Tears of the Kingdom is such a vast difference from like Breath of the Wild and all that kind of shit. You can't fucking have that with the launch of a new system. If the new games all look like they could run on the Switch, then what's the fucking point?
Nintendo doesn't care about that shit you talking about, bro.
But here's the
They've never
question,
cared
though.
about that.
So you must be talking about you don't
can't
want
tell the difference. So
you don't
why
want
would I
like
want that
Metroid
new
Prime
game?
4 to come out this holiday, and then have when the Switch 2 comes out, there's like a free upgrade for it. Is that what you guys are talking about? Because you're talking about backwards compatibility. So for backwards compatibility means they have to launch on the Switch, and then it be playable on the Switch 2. Would be the backwards compatibility part. So
Right.
and then maybe there's, but the thing is like, if the Switch 2 comes out in March and Metroid Prime 4 came out in November, it's like, yeah, maybe your second playthrough you play it on the Switch 2, or maybe just don't buy it for the Switch and wait for the Switch 2, versus them just making it Switch 2 only. Is that what this? Because I was reading some Twitter for a little bit. I'm guessing you're saying you'd rather have it be Switch 2 only, hold it for the Switch 2, maybe do a cross-gen release where there's a Switch 1 version and a Switch 2 version where it's not.
My point is, I would want it on the new system in a way that the Switches wouldn't be able to handle it, quote unquote, to showcase it as a clear,
exclusive to the
massive
Switch too.
difference.
Yeah. I mean, I'm for that too. I've been saying they should hold Metroid Prime 4 for probably 3 years.
Fuck the Switch 2. I got a Switch in this bitch right now, and I barely played this bitch. I want some games this goddamn year. Every year with my other Nintendo consoles, I've been able to play when they were transitioning.
This is like the
Super
Wii's
Nintendo,
last year.
The last year Super Nintendo was fucking stellar. The last year of N64 was stellar. I don't want to hear this bullshit about
so what if they give you 2 and 3 at the end of this and just call it good? Prime 2 and 3. What did they give you?
No, it's the old games.
It's
the old games though.
I haven't bought any of those. I bought
this year's been
last year.
Mario and Donkey Kong or Mario.
But I don't want any more old goddamn games.
What was the game that came out earlier? Mario Donkey Kong or Mario Bowser?
RPG?
Yeah, Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Mario versus Donkey Kong. Thousand Year Door, Luigi's Mansion. That's 3 remakes. Well, Luigi's Mansion.
I don't care about any of that shit.
You got Princess Peach.
I played the hell out of them games.
And then Endless Ocean. You gotta be fair with
Endless Ocean. I don't
Endless
think
Ocean is a new game.
That's a Nintendo IP, but it's not their studio, right?
I don't think it's their studio.
No.
And that's already out, right? That came and went.
Yeah, that came out last month.
It's a cozy game. It ain't gonna move no needles and shit.
Of course.
I like that series. I have both of them.
It doesn't look like they. I don't know. I feel like the Switch would capable of more.
Making look a little better. Yeah.
It doesn't look that much above. I wonder what the Wii direct comparison to the Wii version to the Switch.
Somebody's probably done that.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. There's that's a double-edged sword. You put out a big game this holiday for the Switch 1, and then it's like, oh, you could have had that as a launch game for the Switch 2. So I get they're in a situation.
Yeah, but they're looking for that.
This has to
we'll just have a launch game for the Switch 2. This fucking game, Metroid Prime 4, was announced fucking 2017. I don't want to hear
this. You know they trying to put as much money on that franchise as possible.
Was it 2016? I don't want to hear this shit about Metroid Prime 4. Pick another game. Pick Star Fox or some shit. Make that your launch title. I don't want. Where's Mario? Mario ain't been around for fucking 8 years either. There should be another 3D Mario ready to go at this point. Fucking Mario Kart, motherfucker. Like we haven't had Mario Kart in 10 years. So I don't want to hear this shit about they gotta have a good game for the launch. Bitch, you better already had some games for the launch.
Especially if they want to hit that PS2 sales, they better have something. Well, we know they got a Pokemon game in January. That's Switch 1, or I think it's January.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a date.
Learn your goddamn lessons.
I'm assuming
the Switch was such a cool gimmick. The Switch was such a cool gimmick. You like it, and obviously Breath of the Wild was an amazing game.
I think there's going to be something. It's not. I'm not saying it's going to be Star Fox or F. It's going to be something of an older franchise they're going to bring back, but it's not going to be, in my opinion,
like
I'm guessing, race? It's not going to be like, oh my god, I gotta have that type of game. It's just going to be like, oh yeah, here's Wave Race.
There's got to be a cross,
and it's going to look okay. It's not going to look bad, but it's not going to be like blow you away kind of. I feel like there's still that for this holiday. Maybe some more ports or remakes, but yeah, I don't see any big game for the holiday for the Switch 1. And if they do, it better damn well
Yeah, fuck big game. Give me a new game out this
Or a
bitch.
new
Can
game.
I have a new game? It don't have to be huge.
What if it's
You know,
what if it's
like-
a Mario Party? A new Mario Party.
Oh fuck. That's not a okay. Like you need to have a
When did
good
Advance
like
Wars come
single
out?
player co-op game.
Last year.
That
That was
last
last
year.
year.
In the summer.
Damn, it's
Yeah.
been a year already almost.
Yeah.
What about what could be an IP?
Can I have Battalion Wars? Oh fuck.
I don't think we're gonna get that.
What if it's like
Give me
Excite
Wars,
Trucks, Excite Truck 3 or something?
I think the problem is always gonna be
It's a
moving
little
forward,
sport
is
game.
that
I need
Nintendo does not
with some meat on it.
care as much about having a smooth transition as they should.
They usually just have like a year.
But no. They said
Like, what do you guys
They're
even
focusing on that
mean
this
by
year. They said
definition of
that.
like
That-
a smooth
that was a focus.
transition?
Where you get a quality title within the last year of the transition from an old console to a new console. Like for PS4, we got Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm pretty sure Last of Us 2 that
Mhm.
year.
And
Those are
Dreams,
two
which-
high quality Sony titles that came out
Yeah.
the year before the PS5
Same
came
year.
out.
And oh, by the way, you knew when the next goddamn system was coming. So it's like, all right, this
I
is the
guess-
last game's gonna be getting on this system. We still don't know when the next
I
system's
guess I
coming.
put just
technically.
more emphasis that the new console needs to be stacked compared to like a nice farewell of the previous console. Because I said it before, PlayStation 4, yeah, it's great. You got some really fucking kick-ass like Last of Us and the other game like before the end and shit. But again, it's been now fucking 5 years. You got fucking jack shit. I don't care. Like if you know a new
Yeah.
system is coming, make shit for the beginning of the new.
I mean, the point is,
system.
you want. I,
I
want
think
the
if they're-
games.
Hold on now, if the Switch didn't have a Wii U game at launch, it would have been a dog shit launch
Mhm.
for the Switch.
Agreed.
So
The Switch
Agreed.
had like ARMS, Splatoon. It had a bunch
That
of new
wasn't
shit
as
at the
much.
beginning when it launched.
Launch
That was
day?
later in the year, though.
That was like the first week or some shit.
No, Arms
No,
is April.
what?
Arms and Mario
No.
Kart were like April and May.
Arms
Arms
and
is
Splatoon were
June.
like June and July.
what are you talking about, bro?
And it came out
The
in
Splatoon-
system
March.
launched in March. That's like
Yeah,
a month
you-
later,
That's
man.
like two
No, it's like
months.
three- it's like
That's
3 months
launch
later.
window. Come
No.
on.
Look,
No, no.
Come on now.
I
Come
just
on
say
now.
Retro. If you would have said they want a really good first year, they want a
You think
steady
if they,
lineup.
no,
of
because you
first
think
year.
if they release 5 fucking games day one, everybody's gonna pick up those 5 games. Of course not. You gotta space it out with like a 2
Yeah,
or
so
3
you mean
months.
like-
That's
yeah.
a launch window.
Like the first year, first 9 months plan. I agree with that. Have a good plan.
Yeah, but I'm not really worried
I
about
think
the
if they
first
were
year.
gonna have-
on these other systems, and I'm making a point that the Switch barely had a launch game. That it had a Wii U game. That's the point
Actually,
I'm
it had
making.
2
I'm not
Wii U
making.
games. It had
Yeah.
2 Wii U games with
yeah,
Mario
and now
Kart.
and now
Mario
you want
Kart a little
Switch
bit
2 to
later.
have a Switch 1 game with your Prime 4.
I'm not even talking about Switch 2, bitch. Have you been listening? I'm talking about Switch 1. Can I get some new games?
I just want- oh,
What are you-
he wants. Listen, the point he's making is at the end of the year we should have at least 1, maybe 2 games
Yeah, 1 to
that
maybe
were
2
like
games.
strong
Honestly, I
games
think
for this year.
Nintendo had that. N64 had that going into GameCube. Well, GameCube had that going into Wii. Like, this is not anything. I'm not asking for fucking anything new. I'm not asking for cherubs and lollipops here. I'm asking for shit they've already done. They did it. Only system that they really haven't done that with. Well, I guess you can say Wii U, but there were still some bigger games, and wasn't Star Fox 2016. So they
It was
had
like
some stuff.
early 2016.
Devil's
Yeah,
Third.
and hell, we did X, Xenoblade Chronicles X that December. So
That
we
was
had some big
2015.
games. Yeah, it was 2015, but it was like within a year at least
I
of the
think
next system coming out.
personally,
Almost a year.
I think they
We
should have
knew it.
had that. The Swan Song big Switch game should have been out by June. Like to give yourself, you could have then filled. You put your. If I don't know what they have, but you could have put your Princess Peach and a couple, maybe a remake towards the later half and whatever else they have. I think for me personally,
Said Mario Wonder last year.
I would rather have like the big game be already like coming out.
What
or
if the
out.
holidays? What if the
We already know
holiday
Mario
title
Wonder is
was
not a
3D
year
Donkey
away
Kong?
from the next console. We pretty much know
Mhm.
that at this point.
What if
I'm
the
pretty sure about
it
that.
was a 3D Donkey Kong? How would you feel about that?
I would fucking. Are you kidding? I would fucking blow a fucking gasket. That's what I'm looking for. Give me something like that. I would shut the hell up. But again, I would at least
We
like to
don't know. The problem is we don't
Then-
know.
Right.
We
It's
have a
gonna be-
direct this month, and we just don't know when it is, and we don't know what's gonna be in it.
Look, I wouldn't care if it was
We
Wario
don't
World,
know. We
something.
have a direct
It's
this month.
It's
Wario
supposed to be the
Land.
rest of the holiday. It's
Yeah,
supposed to be
Wario
up to the
Land.
holidays.
Wario
so-
Land 5 or whatever.
I'd be happy with Wario Land. I just would like to know.
You're
at
gonna
this
get
point.
like an indie direct mini some shit, you know.
Okay, so question, man. So question. Since this is supposed to lead up to
Indie games
the
mean nothing to me
this
anymore.
is supposed to lead up to the
That's-
holiday, as far as games and stuff like that, do you foresee them dropping the ball on this one?
What do you mean, like just
Or
not
what do you
releasing anything?
Yeah,
Don't
just
write
being
your
like,
ticket.
hey,
Do
and
not
that was
provide me
a
your license. You are now obstructing.
gonna end
the
this
It
right
feels
off
really
like that.
corporate
So
right
I'm
now because
asking
we're
you to
getting a
provide me
bunch
with
of
your
remakes.
license. I
But-
clearly
So
told
it
you.
So
feels
I-
really
I feel like this is
calculated and
Nintendo's
corporate.
MO going into the end of like last year's of consoles. That's what it feels like. Like
'Cause
this is just what
I-
they're gonna just do remakes for their last year's of consoles.
only speculative.
They
Somewhere
only did that with Wii U
between
though. It's not like something they do.
Well, they also, I mean,
somewhere
the 3DS
between
also was in
July,
the same kind of position. We had a bunch of ports.
somewhere
Towards the end.
between
Port.
July
Yeah,
and
this does feel
November,
like
they're gonna
3DS.
announce the whatever's next for the Switch. I mean, they already said they were gonna do that before the end of the year. So, I
But
mean,
3DS got major ports from a current gen console. They didn't get fucking ports from fucking 3 consoles ago.
Yeah, but I think
That
that I
That
don't
would
think
have
that's
been
really
as
as bad.
cool. It felt a little cool. It was like, damn, you're getting Wii U ports and shit to the.
I
3DS?
disagree.
Uh,
I personally prefer what we've
I
been
don't. I
getting.
didn't buy them. I'm just saying that
No,
seemed a little.
I'm just saying
If you were a 3DS owner and you didn't have a Wii U, and that's a lot of fucking people, my friend. If you didn't have a Wii U and you were a 3DS owner and you were getting those games, I think you would be like, oh shit. Now the 14 or 13.5 million people who had a Wii U, that wasn't a big deal for them. But if you were 3D, that leaves 60 million something plus 3DS owners who never touched the Wii U. Those are some fucking major games for them. I'm guessing that was pretty cool.
I
So,
understand your argument in
there's
that
a
sense,
difference there.
but I feel like by that argument, then I think the remakes we've gotten recently with Paper Mario and even Mario vs. Donkey Kong are titles that people actively have wanted to see more of or again. Like I think Thousand Year Door was a good Mario RPG.
They just wanted to see a game like Thousand Year Door more than they actually wanted Thousand Year Door again. They just got tired of the recent Paper
but
Mario
think about it.
trope.
The GameCube didn't sell a lot, and you can't buy that copy of that game for cheap at all. That game is
It sold over
expensive.
1 million copies. It wasn't like it didn't sell.
Let's say the Switch
And that's
ended
true. The second part is
tomorrow.
definitely true.
If the Switch ended tomorrow, would you have been happy then? I mean, like I said, you got a few ports, but you got like Princess Peach.
No, I'd be
you
even
got,
more
like,
mad. It's like,
you got
why
like
the Switch
Endless
ended
Ocean
tomorrow?
and stuff. You got like a brand new game. I just want
What
to
are we
know
gonna
if
do
this
for the next
kid-
year?
No, but like I said, you also have no. I'm just saying, like, if the new Switch would have launched in like a few months, I'm just saying, if this was the end now, would you have been happy with this ending that the Switch had? Got like a few
No,
ports, Endless
I'm
Ocean,
completely
Princess Peach.
satisfied with the Switch as it is.
I mean, as a
but I know it's
console,
going to
I'd be
be here.
satisfied.
Yeah, completely satisfied with the console and the Switch. But I'm saying, as a Switch owner who I know this is the console they're going to have for at least the next year, that's not satisfying to me to not know any goddamn thing or whatever they're coming out with now. It doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. So
maybe most of that stuff is going to be, I can't say most, but maybe you get some of the titles that you're excited about being as cross-gen titles, and that's probably why they haven't been over.
Well, let me
back to where we were at the beginning of this debate. Back to hopes and dreams, which is not where
It's
I want to
all
be.
hopes and dreams, T. It's all hopes and dreams.
We should know at this point what we're gonna get. We get upset or we make fun of the other dudes when they show games too early, and sometimes even when Nintendo does it, Metroid Prime 4, or talk about them too early. But at least they have some idea of what's coming to the console, even if it is a few years out. There's something good about that. You know that.
I've been mixed on that situation because
you don't have to do it 2 or 3 years out. 1 year out. I should know what's coming to my console.
I think the problem with Nintendo that always made it more of an issue was 2 things. One, it was Nintendo doesn't get a lot of third-party stuff, so there is no buffer in between like their major releases. Right. And so when we don't hear shit from Nintendo for like over a few months, and it's like, well, bruh, we only know about like 1 or 2 for first-party games, and we know you ain't about to get half of these third-party games being announced, so what the fuck are we playing? Like, so I understand that, but at the same time, I think back to the issue that Wii U had, where we were that 2013 Direct that people thought was amazing. Yeah, I think it was 2013. I think it was early January 2013, and half of those games didn't come out for like 2 years, and people were like, damn. And then it just became an issue of...
Did that change how you felt about the Direct?
No, about the Direct itself. Well, No, because I still think the direct was amazing.
I don't
It's
think
just-
it was that hype anyway. It was
No, it was
at the
pretty
end.
hype considering.
Was
I
that
went
the
back and watched it. I was
Xenoblade
like,
Chronicles direct?
Yeah, it was Xenoblade
Yeah.
Chronicles.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that
man,
was
guys just say a
definitely
year, you know, fucking every game that was in that direct, man. Like, get the fuck
I
out
mean,
of
but
here.
that's the biggest. That was the
I
one
went
that
back and
you had
watched
to
it
remember,
recently. I
right?
know I was like, we were pretty hyped.
That was also when we first got the
whole
Fire Emblem Shin Megami Tensei teas without
Right.
knowing.
Oh yeah.
That had a decent amount of stuff in it. It's just that, you know, we just
That
didn't
was
see
a
those
game we were
games.
waiting on for
I mean,
like
but
10 fucking years.
Even if you think about last
None of
year,
that has
we
anything to
kinda
do with the
didn't
fact.
we didn't really know a whole lot that was coming towards the end of the year last year up until this point. We didn't
Yeah,
know
it took. Yeah,
about-
it was E3 until we found out about Mario Wonder.
yeah.
So-
So I mean, it's kind
Okay,
of
but
Do you
the-
think they have a
okay,
Mario Wonder left?
But you're stating the problem here. I'm not agreeing with what's going on. I'm saying at this point, 7 goddamn years into a life cycle of a console, this shouldn't be a thing, really. I don't think, especially when you're about to go to a new console. Can you tell me what's coming for this one for me to still be excited about for this next year?
think-
Yeah, but you
I
still
think-
gotta give them like
I think
a month
honestly
or
they
two
took
for
it. I
that.
think to be fair, they've been kind of doing that with Switch almost the entire Switch generation.
entire
Yeah.
generation,
With
yeah.
a couple of exceptions. I think Bayonetta was the exception, and then obviously Metroid Prime 4 was another exception where it was like
And Tears
y'all
of the
talked about these games a little bit too early, and we
Yeah.
fucking sat there for years waiting
Okay,
on both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys keep talking about too early. We're in the last goddamn year of this console. There's no more too early. Okay, we're in the last year
I
of
think
this
that's
console,
the-
so there's
But
no
no,
more
no,
too
no,
early.
they've
The point that's
often-
made
they've
is that they tend to focus on what is closer to them as of now instead of
Man,
trying
y'all
to
sound
give
like some
you.
PR Nintendo.
No, but
No, but it makes- to me, the reason why we were like, stop announcing shit. No, listen. The reason why we were like, stop announcing shit early is because hype dies within the course of time. Now, at this point, we can't do anything about these last 6 months, right?
Hype is gonna die within
It's
6
June.
months.
What I'm saying is it's June. We know we're getting a direct this month. Any other announcement we're getting this year is coming in the next week or two or whatever. The next month, right?
If I see
That's it.
That
is
it'd be
different.
that shit, you can kiss my ass. I don't want
I
to
just
see
wanna
any
say,
of
like,
But the point I'm making is
any of
like,
that.
as far as the rest of this year is concerned, there's nothing really we can really say or do because we're already kind of locked in. Direct this month, cover the rest of the year, and the only other thing we'll probably get in later on in the year is the Switch 2 announcement trailer or teaser, whatever the fuck they want to do as far as that's concerned.
I'm just saying again, we don't know if there's a direct. Okay, like
No,
I'm
we
just
do.
saying that's
He
what-
literally said-
Yeah.
He
know
literally
there's a direct.
said we're getting a direct in June.
Yeah.
Who
During
said
the
that?
That is a known thing. We just don't know the day.
yeah, we just don't know the day. We know we're getting a direct in June.
But like either
Yeah,
way, like what Terrell said earlier, that's what I always said, and I've liked that about the Switch. Nintendo has had a ton of games during the Switch that they announced literally 1-2 months before the game's launch. Like we've seen that like all the time, significantly, and I like that. Like I thought that was the whole problem. You don't want games to be announced too far in advance. I feel the Switch has been really good as like, oh, here's like fucking Mario Wonder, here's like Mario Maker 2, here's like Fire Emblem Warriors. Oh yeah, all these games are coming out in like 2 weeks, in like 2 months or whatever. Like they've always been doing that with the Switch. I feel very actively.
Because they got burned with how they handled the Wii U, so they're fought.
And that's how I feel
What?
too.
They started doing that recently. That's the last few years thing. The first few years of
Yeah,
Switch
during the
wasn't like that.
Switch.
Yeah, I mean they stopped that cold after Bayonetta.
And again, we're in the last year of the Switch.
Do you guys
I don't
think
think it's
there
a
is a
big
Mario
deal
Wonder?
to reveal what's coming.
You think they're gonna
for the
announce a
last year.
Mario Wonder level game for this year still? You think they got a big game?
as a end of the year game.
I'd say at least one. At least one.
I think they've
You have 140 million consumers out here.
they're gonna
you
have
bullshitting?
they're gonna have 2 titles. I feel like one that's gonna be a fall title and one that's gonna be like the holiday title.
A fall title would be kind of crazy because that means they'd be coming out in August or September.
In a couple months, but they did that last time too. I mean, they
Yeah.
did it like the last 3 years.
Yeah, you're right.
Focused gamers than everybody else. Almost, you got more focused gamers than the 2 other consoles combined. Because we know what? Well, that's not true. Because we got.
They're both around like 60.
We got about 40 million people still on PS4, 45 million or so on
Yeah.
PS4. PS5 combined. I mean, I don't know how many people actually own that because they don't.
I think
really
it's
tell
like
you that
50. I think it's like somewhere
Well,
around
that's what
50.
they sold to retailers. That don't mean that's what's sitting in people's houses. So, and that's one of the problems.
Well,
that they've been
I'm
having
being
with selling
generous
games.
essentially with it.
Yeah, but what I'm
Well,
saying is, you
I mean-
got a lot of people still on their Switch, locked in, and you
Yeah.
offering up, 25-year-old games.
I think.
I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
but that some of those kids, some people haven't played those games. I don't think that's a
Right.
Okay,
terrible thing.
some people haven't played a lot of games. Are we gonna remake everything? I mean,
I think
I mean,
literally.
they do.
But all right, but here's my thing. Here's my.
Well, I haven't
Listen,
played those games. I can name you 10 million games that people haven't played. That we're gonna bring them all back to. That's not an excuse.
if there's money to be made, I think absolutely
your
it'll probably
console.
happen.
Yeah, that's what'll happen.
If there's
That's
money
not
to be
excuse
made.
games on your console, though. What I'm
Hey,
saying. That's
the
not...
Switch is living. Is the Switch is dying the way it's been living.
Remember,
Watch
the
some
Switch has
remakes,
literally
bro.
been Port City
Yeah.
since it came out.
Well, how about some ports that people actually want? I mean, I guess you would say
Well, they're
Thousand Year
doing
Door is
the
one of those.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
mean,
I think Down Your Door counts as one of those, man.
But I think a lot of the other ones.
I think Mario RPG counts as one of
RPG
those.
counts as one of those, yeah.
The only one you could-
that's like
the only one you could argue-
one thing.
You got
Absolutely
two,
it is.
maybe.
Okay,
That's
so
two.
listen, in the same vein,
Oh, we want
in the
Twilight
same vein of
Princess
that,
and Wind Waker.
that's kind of one of the reasons why I also think that Prime 4, because there's so many people now and there's so many Switches out there, that's how you collect the most money on a
But that is my.
franchise.
That's what I've been saying from the beginning. You have 140. Well, probably not that many because some people have bought multiple Switches like myself. I got 5 of them bitches in here. So you have at least 120 million. Let's say 120 million people out there that are primed for your games. Wouldn't the Switch be the perfect fucking console to bring those quote unquote riskier games? And hey, let's see how they do on here. I mean,
maybe that's why you
had
get the Donkey Kong. Maybe that's why you get the Donkey Kong now.
What-
I
Donkey
don't
Kong's
like that
not-
because that would
it's-
imply Donkey.
it's
I
not
don't like that
risky.
argument because that's implying Donkey Kong's a risk. I don't like
That's
that.
not a risky game.
3D,
Yeah.
a 3D platformer.
The quote unquote risky games
The last one
are
you
the
had
Wave
was the
Races,
64.
your Star Foxes. How are you going to let those games miss this console? Is what I'm saying. Your Wave Races to start. People have been crying for those games forever too.
Well, that's probably
Are
why they just settled them as
fucking-
64 on online games.
Well, that's GameCube. GameCube had Wave Race and Star Fox mainline games. They don't mind porting GameCube games. We know that. So why are we getting some of the more higher profile stuff that people really want? Nintendo PR, can you explain that shit?
Listen,
You got all the explanation for everything else. I say.
listen,
Tell me
you'll get
why.
Listen, you'll get it, but you're gonna get it in a 99. How about that?
Oh,
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's some disrespectful shit. How dare you?
goddamn.
Wave
Yeah,
Race
I
99. How about that?
Oh
1080,
no!
1080 99. How about that?
I already forgot they did that. I really did.
You blacked out. That's why. That was a time you chose not to remember it.
They remade nobody's favorite fucking wave or I can't even think of the goddamn name. You just said it.
Wave Race?
No, not Wave Race. F-Zero. They remade nobody's favorite F-Zero game and put it as F-Zero. Wait, what the fuck, man? You're just trolling at this point. You're trolling. You're goddamn trolling at this point. Like, come on. Everybody knows that X and fucking GX are everybody's favorite Wave Race games
Is
by
F-Zero
far.
99 still playable? I'm guessing.
Yes.
They've continuously been updating that. I'm actually shocked that it's still around.
Of course they have. Of course they've been updating it because they want to
I mean,
continue
no,
the
of
troll.
course they killed Mario 35 like
No,
that.
they want to continue the troll. They want
No,
to
don't say it like that. That's a little disrespectful.
What about N64
I mean, that's what it is,
games? Have they
though.
added anything
which made way more sense, by the way.
to
Yeah, they added
Anything through the game?
what did they add
Jet
recently?
Force in those?
Something big, something bigger. Recently was Jet Force.
I played Excite Bike 64.
I pay for this shit and I don't even know what's on there. That's
I can
sad.
tell you. Now, hold on. Let's just mark
And
off
I
the
haven't
call.
had I'm done.
I can't play N64 games on the Switch. I can't do it. It don't feel right. I feel like I'm cheating. It don't feel right. Oh, here you go. You got a visual confirmation.
Let's see. Let's see what we got here.
End of the life cycle. We can got this shit.
What was the last stuff that we got? Like Excite Bike and all that?
You asking the wrong. Yeah,
That was the last one I remember.
Yeah. Okay, so no, it was Extreme G. We got Extreme G.
Oh, Extreme G.
Yep. Iggy's Wrecking Balls and Blast
Acclaim
Corps.
or Konami?
It just says throwback on here.
Oh, Blast Corps. Was Blast Corps before Extreme G?
No, they came out at the same time.
Same time?
Yeah.
That's
interesting. They don't even put Acclaim's name on here. It just says throwback for both Extreme G and Iggy's Wrecking Balls.
Oh, nice.
I mean, Acclaim technically isn't around anymore.
Extreme G, one thing, but they still made the game. You still got to credit the company that made the game.
Still in when you load it up, boot it up. It still shows.
It says Acclaim or whatever when you start it. Iggy's Wrecking Ball. That was out of that left field like a mother. Does anybody even remember that shit?
Both came.
I remember Iggy's Wrecking Ball 2 for your end of your Switch life cycle.
Right. Harvest Moon, Jet Force Gemini.
Harvest Moon, that's a good one. Jet Force, obviously.
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are top tier N64 games right there. Right, Juice?
What one?
Damn.
Sure. Loved it.
Damn. And then you got what was it? Killer Instinct for Super Nintendo.
Oh, for Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
I played that game a lot, but man, I wanted it to
when they put it on Genesis.
I wanted Killer Instinct on the Super Nintendo to somehow be closer to the arcade. I don't know why I was expecting it to even be remotely. I thought they did a pretty good job for what they had.
Well, good thing you didn't play Pit Fighter.
Oh my gosh.
Anybody remember Pit Fighter?
I remember the name, but I don't.
That terrible knockoff.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Pit Fighter came out before Mortal Kombat. It was just really bad. It was an arcade game. It was basically Street Fighter, but using that technology, the scan technology. It controlled like ass. I just remember it controlling really horribly. It's a mean game now for sure. Pit Fighter. It had like really bad looking like Bob. It was a bummy dude in a pair of jeans. It was pretty bad. And some wrestler looking dude. It had the same graphics as like Mortal Kombat.
Oh, you know what? So getting back to the E3 thing, man. I think the biggest disappointment is the fact that IGN ruined not IGN, GameSpot ruined it for no. Who is GeForce, thank you. I'm sorry. GeForce ruined it for everybody. With the whole Nintendo thing, and then Nintendo decided that they were gonna go ahead and just do the stuff themselves, and that kind of caught on.
GeForce?
And yeah,
the
G4 TV you're talking about? What the?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm all over the
GeForce.
place.
I'm like, you talking about the guys who make fucking video cards?
Yeah, no, not NVIDIA.
NVIDIA GeForce. I'm like, what? Wait,
no, not them.
GeForce.
G4.
G4. Okay.
Yeah, and the whole debacle with the Wii U and all that other stuff. And
that wasn't G4. That was because they weren't around yet. That was
Sessler.
That company. Yeah, Sessler and his group. What was that company?
He was working for Rev 3 Games.
Rev 3 Games, right?
When he was saying that Iwata should be fired because of the.
Iwata should be fired. Where don't they have a 3D Mario at launch and all this shit? Like
ruined it all, and that is where
he was
them doing their own presentation started, and now it's just like
we all said the future. I think a lot of people said Nintendo.
And it's the same guy who was praising Grand Theft Auto 5, even though a huge part of the game was missing at launch. He was sucking that game's ass.
God, was like that was one of the worst. Like that was as bad as the Red Dead making coffee, taking a bath.
Yeah, it was that bad.
He's
Yeah.
like, I played
like-
this game all weekend, and oh my god, it's like made it sound like the just most incredible gaming experience.
You have zero integrity after that. Get out of here. Get out of here.
And he was like friends with the Titanfall like development team with some of the leads at Respawn, and man, he pumped up that game at that E3.
Motherfuckers are so buddy. They're too buddy with these developers. Been saying that shit.
He gave that game of the
now.
show like before that. Like he even played hardly anything else. It's like, oh, it's so incredible. Like, I mean, it looks.
It's some
cool.
hip hop gamer level type of shit. When he was saying that Ready at Dawn, was it Ready at Dawn that made Order 1886?
Something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was Ready at Dawn. Because I'm thinking of my video where I did hippity hop game. Ready at Dawn, and he was like talking about because people were like, you know, shitting on the game. He was like talking about the game was being racist against. I'm like, you're way too buddy with these people talking about people being racist against the game. What? That made no sense. I'm like, because he worked with EA. He was making horrible rap songs for Madden and shit. And he was too close to these developers, man. Like, I can't trust your opinion on these games. You're too buddy. You're supposed to be you're supposed to be an unbiased journalist, and you're clearly not. You're clearly you're compromised, like Adam Susser was.
So you think if they ever decided to bring, and I think we talked about this on, but do you think if they ever decide to bring it back, that they should start moving it from year to year, not just always in LA?
Oh, different places? Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it used to be in Atlanta and shit. I think it would be great in Atlanta again.
Yeah, because I mean, not everybody has the
than it was back then.
Yeah,
Atlanta's a huge city now.
Not everybody has the accessibility to just go to LA and drop thousands and thousands of dollars just to watch a gaming presentation. So
I say do that shit at Atlanta. Do it at Tyler Perry Studios. Shit. I'm sure he'll welcome everybody up in there for that.
Or at least do it like remember when back in the Wii U days when they had like the thing with Best Buy or whatever, you could get the little mini experience. I think
I did that.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That was cool. I mean, you can make an E3. Do the companies care? That's the big thing.
Right.
Because they're all like, we'll just put shit up on our YouTube channel or Twitter.
Yeah. Do it ourselves. I don't know. I think they could still, but they got to be enticing enough. Whoever
it has to be enticing to these companies to do it. I wish.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make it enticing for them, because like I said, they just feel like, hey, we can just put it on Twitter.
Right.
And that's good enough.
Even if they wanted you to try something, they'd just be like, oh, closed beta, or here's
closed beta demo. The internet ruined everything. The internet has ruined everything.
Just like cell phones. I mean, we don't want to wrap this up. You know, the smartphone. What was it? 2009, I think.
Ruined children's brains for one.
I think that's why, you know, I know we had the movie industry was booming before COVID and stuff, but it's just like people like we work where I work, you know, we're not super busy right now, and we hired a 20, she just turned 21. She literally, like, everyone else is working, she just stands there on her phone, and of course my boss, you know, he's close to retirement, so he doesn't care. I wish he did. I mean, she's literally on her phone, then she goes to, like, pick an order, and she's in the aisles walking with her phone in her hand, picking orders. Like, she can't put the phone down. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I forget what, I want to say it was Georgia. I could be wrong, but there's a school district somewhere who recently banned cell phones. Like, you have to turn that bitch in when you come in the door. Not just put it away. And their fucking grades and everything shot up after they did that.
It's like
there's your proof. There's your proof right there.
Because
that shit is so distracting to these kids, man. You're ruining generations with this stuff, and we need to crack down. They should crack down on that shit at work. You don't need a fucking phone at work. There's phones everywhere. You got to make a call, get on the fucking work phone and make a call. We all did that shit fine for decades.
I'd say it's fine when you get caught up. If you work a job where you can get caught up and you're waiting around, I would say at that point to kill some time, but yeah, don't. Everyone else is working, and you're just standing there scrolling your phone, getting text message after text message. It's like it's ridiculous.
It's rotting our brain. It's going to affect us psychologically and sociologically for years to come.
It's just
we
like
don't
the
even
Wall-E
realize it.
movie.
It ruined imagination, man. It's like kids just don't go outside, grab a stick, and call it a sword.
I still see kids going outside. Like my niece and nephew.
There's always going to be
outside.
some kids who do it, but we're talking like
But it's not as
overall.
prominent.
Well, that's
you aren't having Sandlot experiences.
It's the
let me tell you
easy
that.
way for the the easy way for their parents to get some free time though. That's like you gotta
do what our parents did. You just do. You got to do. You got to do what you got to do.
Make them go outside.
My kids
don't go outside.
My dad used to yell at me go outside when I wanted to play my Super Nintendo. It's like I'm good playing this, Dad.
I'm saying, even though I had the Super Nintendo and the fucking Sega Genesis sitting there, I still wanted to take my monkey ass outside. I still want to go outside.
I live 5 miles from Lake Michigan. We ride our pedal bikes there, like in the early afternoon, like maybe before lunch.
I was in the woods playing Indiana Jones.
We'd ride our bikes back. We'd eat dinner or like early dinner, and then we'd ride our bikes back 5 more miles back to Lake Michigan and go to the campgrounds because there's always cute girls camping there in the summer. And it was nonstop.
Now that also helps with your goddamn social skills, which is also a problem.
Yeah.
These kids don't know how to talk to anybody. They don't know how to talk to girls. They don't know how to talk to anybody.
Just look at like people trying to just, go to like somewhere where there's like trying to think like an example, like a speaker is speaking and people are like outside and they're like, they're protesting maybe somebody being somewhere, and they're just like, all right, let me just talk to you and get your opinion. It's one of these, they have like the helper guy, you see shows and YouTube videos, and they're just like, hey, would you mind answering? No, I'm not. And they're just like, I know that's just an extreme example, but it's like you won't even have a conversation. Like you won't even.
My kids, my son's friends will come over every once in a while. And they'll fucking walk past me or don't even acknowledge. I'm like, look, little motherfucker, you in my house. You better say hello, mister. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
And hi, sir. And hi to my wife, everything. I don't play that. You show respect to the people.
It's at a point that it's a point that I had to have a conversation with my son too, because he's guilty of it. And it's like he doesn't.
My son doesn't do that. He knows not to do that. I don't play
he's not doing well in school, and I'm like, there is no excuse for you not doing well in school because you have a teacher there. Like, if you need the extra work, all you have to do is go to the teacher and be like, hey, I don't understand this. Can you walk me along it? The problem is, like we've been saying, is the communication aspect. Like, you don't communicate, so it's never going to happen. And that problem, if that problem persists, if it's happening now and you can't communicate with somebody who's there specifically for that job, what is going to happen when you get older and you actually get a job, and you don't have that communication skills? Your boss is telling you this and that, and you were supposed to get married tomorrow, but that conversation never happened because you didn't know how to communicate that.
Communication is so fucking important. Like I tell them, if you have bad communication skills, you can forget about success in anything. Like you have to be able to talk.
And if somebody somebody that's not good to communicate with, you avoid them. You don't even talk to them. They just because that you're not going to get anywhere with the person.
You're not going to get anywhere.
Like I was guy at work. I was like telling him, hey, we're going to be doing this, and he didn't even reply. Like did you catch me? Do you hear what I'm saying? Like I just walked away, and then there's a person at work, and I think she's 22. They hired her when it was working from home, and then they come into the office, and she had to ask me something, and so we had and she's like, "Do you know anybody that wears contacts? I need some contact whatever drops for my contacts." I was like, just go around and ask people, like why? Like I don't know.
I don't really want to talk to you.
You're talking to me because we just were engaging with something, a problem I was helping with. Like just get up and go ask. Like everyone's nice there. Like no one's gonna be mad at you for asking if you had contact fluid or whatever.
People don't know how to talk to each other.
No, it's just crazy. Now I'm not like approaching everybody, but as soon as I start talking, then sometimes I can't stop. You know, like
You want to shut up?
you know. But anyway, let's wrap this up. It's good to be back. Get 5 people in here. That's a first in a long time. So
Wait till the Switch 2 come out. We're gonna have 10, 15.
Right.
yeah, the Switch 2. That's gonna really tell us. We'll see what kind of live viewership we get, what kind of views we get on the podcast once the Switch 2 gets revealed. Because the Switch 1, the podcast blew up. We were at 100+ live viewers, 2,000 to 3,000 views, like for a couple month span. The Switch hype was real, and we didn't ride the wave right though. You know, I started criticizing Nintendo in 2018 and kind of.
Yep, that's the day you lost everybody's.
Yep, I should have just everything. I should have just been like, you know, rainbows and sunshine, everything's great. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not like, I wasn't excited for the state of play, but I was interested in seeing what they had to show. Same thing for Xbox. I'm not excited, but I'm interested to see. I want to see great games.
I want to see Perfect Dark.
I want to,
see Everwild. They're talking about Everwild.
Everwild's gonna get canceled.
About that, yeah.
Perfect Dark's never gonna come.
Hey, mate, you know they had that beautiful
negative
world.
Nancy over here. You got everything negative to say. When you talk about the Switch and Switch 2, you got all this negative shit to talk now. Let's hear it.
But yeah, just the excitement's gone for like, hey, we're gonna have Sundays gonna be Xbox, and then Nintendo, Sony on Monday, Nintendo Tuesday, then a couple days of E3, like Treehouse and reports. It was just an exciting time, and it's, you know, it's kind of sad that it's gone. And Jeff Keighley's not the answer. I know that.
No.
The industry in itself is going through a transition right now. So
same with Hollywood.
Hopefully, Hollywood too. Entertainment in general. So hopefully we get through this within the next year or so. We get back to normalcy.
Nintendo's gonna fucking dominate.
Yeah.
Dominate.
I hope they do. I hope.
Guess what we did last time? We doing it again. Haha.
Like this would be like the time for Xbox to gain ground with what PlayStation's got out.
Yeah, they ruined the shots. This is a perfect time for them to emerge, and they just shot themselves all up in the feet.
And Xbox has the opportunity now. I feel like you got the chance. Like here,
and who knows?
Do it.
2025.
And you got Call of Duty coming to Game Pass. I mean, you should be marketing the shit out of that. I don't know.
Xbox is too busy putting Sunset Overdrive on the Switch 2 for launch.
Hey guys, listen, we have a Call of Duty direct after the Xbox showcase.
That's right, buddy.
That's the last thing I'm gonna fucking
That's such
watch.
a wild statement. A Call of Duty direct. Like, all right, we need to cut this shit.
So we're not watching that.
No, that's good. That's what they should be doing. A Call of Duty direct. And at that bitch, they should be saying Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass every 5 fucking seconds. That's what they should be doing.
I want my Switch release this year. I want my Switch Call of Duty release.
Do they have a Bethesda show this year?
It's probably gonna be combined.
They didn't mention it. I don't.
That's my knowledge, no.
You're gonna get Todd Howard's talking at it.
We got a pretty huge.
What about a Starfield update?
We got a huge Starfield update coming. And the last update was pretty fucking sweet. We got our 60 frames finally.
Nice. The map that finally looks right.
The maps and so and then we're gonna get land vehicles, so that would be fucking amazing. Hopefully soon.
That's where it's at right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back talk about it. Next week after. Hopefully,
maybe when we get the next announcement for Direct, he's gonna be like happy with his end of Switch life cycle. He's gonna be at peace finally.
I knew they were gonna do it.
I didn't need 1 or 2 games. I just give me 1 or 2 games. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. It ain't crazy.
But anyway, we'll get out of here, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Man, I'm gonna play Triforce Heroes.
Well, you can still play that if you go.